Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back here with another episode of From the Sidelines, the weekly show. It's hosted by paintball people, but it's not a paintball show. Braden's got some background noise. He's in the noisy, Latin house. We talk about it every week, but we'll jump to him in a second. My name's Ryan Mafia. This is episode 102. We've got another guest in the house, and we're excited to have you guys back with us. Stephen Hatch, we'll jump over to you first. How are you doing, buddy?
Dude, feeling extra free, it's 4th of July this past week, so I'm feeling extra good this week. Feel good recording this.
Nice.
Excited.
Hey, freedom ain't free. You know what they say. Then we'll jump over to our other co-host who is here semi-weekly. Whenever he decides to show up, sometimes he's here.
A part-time.
No. Episode 102. Been here every show. Never miss an episode. Here in spirit, even the ones I wasn't a host on. Yeah, don't mind the background noise.
You missed like 3 in the past month and a half, dog. It's been rough. We gotta get you back on track.
It's no excuses.
You did get married.
No more PTO.
No more PTO. It's out. It's gone.
PTO's gone. Marriage is done. All the fun plans and everything have been locked up. So yeah, you'll be back on the show, back to the grind. We love to hear that. We do have a special guest, but before we jump to him, we got to talk about our sponsors real quickly. So if you guys want more information about them, you can head over to either the link down below in the description, or you can head over to our first sponsor, liquidiv.com, and get more information about their awesome hydration multiplier. Brandon drinks it every week on the show. Are you gonna make it? All right, there he goes.
I just made one myself, dude.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, we always have some here on the show, but we also use it while we're out at the paintball field. If maybe you drank a little bit too much the night before just for a regular work day, it also works great for that as well. If you need hydration, it's a go-to product. Liquid IV is used by a lot of great athletes. A lot of great places trust this and throw it in their body. They have the sugar-free and sugar formula, so if you're keto or you're diabetic or something like that and you need to watch your sugar intake, they have an option for you as well. Head over to liquidiv.com, use promo code Mafia_Moffitt. You're going to save 20% and get free shipping on your order. So might as well get over there. They also have it available in all big, retailers, Costco, Target, all that shit. You can get it there as well. Use promo code Mafia_Moffitt and you're going to save some money. We also have NECTR Energy. I threw one in before the show because I needed to get pepped up for our podcast. NECTR.energy, the awesome neurotropic and caffeine pouch. We had a great conversation with the two twins who are behind the company, or I guess they're not the sole people behind it, but they have a big part in it. Go check that out if you want to. But yeah, we had a great conversation with them. They have a awesome product which you can get more information about at NECTR.energy. All their flavors are listed online, and if you use code MafiaProductions, you can get a buy two get one free coupon. We love the guys over there. They're doing some great things. They're helping out people in our industry as well, so we always appreciate that and want to support companies who are choosing to support us. It's awesome. And let's move on into our next one. We have Welts Clothing. That's who I was forgetting. I couldn't remember the name, but I did remember it. Scott Stewart. I remember the name of your company. Welts Clothing and all the boys down there in Texas. They make some great apparel. Good job switching out the hat like you do every week. I was a little upset when you didn't have it, but that's cool. Like it now.
Almost every week, part-time.
Yeah, when the episodes you're here. But Welts Clothing, they do a lot of awesome apparel down in Texas. There's some great guys behind the business down there locally who also play in the sport, so it's cool to see them doing some awesome kind of customized stuff. Every week or every month on their website, they'll have a limited edition kind of item. They'll do some straps, some t-shirts, some jerseys, so always be on the lookout for that. Head over to weltsclothing.com and go check it out. Use promo code FTS over there to save yourself a little bit of money at checkout. So yeah, thank you to our 3 sponsors. Guys, do you guys want to get into the show? You guys ready for this?
Hell yeah.
You guys want to do this? All right.
I suppose so.
Well, let's bring in our guest for tonight. Guy I've known actually since pretty much the start of my journey in paintball. He's kind of, I don't know, he's always been that dude at the field, or even if he's not on the team I'm following, I see him around at events. You can't get rid of him. All right. He just loves the sport too much. But we have the man, he's playing with Infamous currently. We're glad to have him on. Tim Brusselback. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, man. Sweet intro. It's a lot of words there.
Yeah. Have to build it up, have to hype it up, get the people out there ready to listen to it. Because I think this could be a good conversation tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, man. So I guess, with that, like we just mentioned, you're on Infamous today. Where did all this start? It's always fun to ask people where their beginning of the journey was, especially when you kind of see where they're at today. What was the year that you got into paintball, and what is a little bit of that path to where you're at today?
I met Nick and Aaron Ormrod in freshman science class, and they had a paintball magazine, and I was, playing in the woods with some buddies and some parents and stuff here and there, and I was like just kind of like awestruck at this magazine I'd never seen before. And then they kind of just talked about like the competitive scene, and yeah, kind of yucked me up and got me to come out. Um, I was a headstrong football guy, so I wasn't the scared type, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
I
What
made the
position did
team
you
right
play?
away. I was running back in high school.
Oh yeah, so
okay.
fear is you can't be scared at all.
And so that kind of out of an edge when I came out to try out, and yeah, made the.
Is that darn it. Internet's cutting out a little bit. I know he's up there in the hills, but it sounds like he's still there. All right. Yeah, coming back. So I mean, we had you. No, you're fine. Internet troubles. Hey, it's not just you, Brandon. I know you're usually the guy that deals with it.
I got Starlink right now, but I am up in the mountains. So here and there,
Still better than mine.
Elon will shut me off for like a split second, and then
Thank you, Elon.
Yeah. No, but shout out Starlink. All right, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's the only thing that works out here. So
there we go. Sick.
Here we are. But yeah, so there was a field like west of where I grew up called Elma. It was called like Elma Paintball or something like that. And they had a huge program at the time. I think it was 2003, 2002. And so they had an open team, God, I can't remember how they used to do the rankings back then. It was like rookie and amateur, and it was kind of silly. But yeah, so we'll just call it like, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4, and Division 5. So I played on the Division 5 team, and then, worked my way through the ranks of the programs there, and then kind of went in and out competitively because of high school and college and stuff, and then dropped out of college. I think 2010, 2011. I basically got to the point where I was going to have to get loans, and I'd done like 2 years, and kind of was just like, I'm just going to learn skills and try to make money on my own. And when I started doing that, I started picking up like paintball again. So I think 2008 or 2000. Let's see, dropped out in 10. We'll say my national career started probably 2009, 2010, and then dropped out of college, and then really picked it up, like ramped it up. Found out there was a semi-pro team here in California that was having tryouts. Missed the first tryout, but back to those like knowing people can help out. So Nick and Aaron went down for the first tryout and made the team, and then basically got me a private tryout like a month later. And then I made the team just before going to, I believe, Chicago.
Nice. The good old like, trust us, yeah, we're gonna bring our boy down. Come on, let him on.
they needed an athletics, front guy, and so they were like, hey,
Perfect
trust
fit.
us, we got a guy. Yeah. So yeah, came down, made the team for that weekend. Bought the flight that Sunday to Chicago, and then kind of just steamrolled from there. I think we got like 9th place or something that event, and then ended up winning in MAO. So it was like, I had been jumping around national events here and there, like Division 3, Division 2, always would like make Sunday and lose first round, or just miss the cut Sunday. So never really got to experience like late Sunday paintball. So yeah, my second event ever semi-pro, we won.
You're like, damn, this is different.
And it just kind of steamrolled from there. The team kind of fell apart for a second when all the Uprising dudes left to play for Uprising, and because at that point it was 7-man and the PSP, and so I played.
This was like 2011-ish.
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
Okay.
So played semi-pro PSP, and then played pro NPPL with San Francisco Explicit, and we were in and out of Sundays until the final one. We took third, and then the NPPL died.
You're like, all right, we're ramping up, and
what sucks though is that that third place set podium in pro for me has kind of got an asterisk next to it because like Dynasty wasn't there and some other pro teams weren't there. So that one, I'm proud of it, but I'm also kind of not proud of that.
yeah, it's kind of like what could have been if the actual competition, like the top of the top,
five of the other top teams were there.
Yeah.
But either way, podiumed in pro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like
a lot of people can't say that.
Pro, so that was cool. And then PPL was a lot of fun. It's kind of a bummer that it ended, but honestly, like that. So the two most stressful years of my life were that year and then year on Impact because it was like so many fucking events in a year where you're just never home. So you're like, all right, I'm home for 2 days in March. I have to make rent money in 2 days for this month, and I won't even be here ever for that month. You know what I mean? So it's just very stressful.
Your house becomes storage, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. And like, paintball's free, and sometimes you can get gear and a little bit of money here and there from certain teams, but like never enough to make up for like missing 2 weeks of work. You know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, yeah, the little bit of money I got, okay, I got to sell a gun now to pay rent, but like if I don't sell this gun, I'm not going to pay rent, that kind of shit. So it's very stressful. But anyway, getting off topic. So played for DMG. The Uprising dudes left. We rebuilt. That's when a bunch of guys that got on the team, like Hallberg and Marvin and those guys, and we sucked for a year. It was very tough. I almost left the team because it was like I went from like mid-tier lowest player on the team to like best player on the team, and we were winning to going 0-4. So it was really tough to stick around. Stuck it out. Grinded with the team. Dave really helped out. Playing Impact. At least once before an event really helped us kind of grow fast. And then I started winning with those guys and then got a spot on Impact. Then I got cut and then went to Uprising, then Aftermath, then Uprising, then back to DMG, then to Aftermath, then to Infamous.
So it's been a little bit of a road.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I told someone we were gonna have you on tonight, and the way I described you as kind of that journeyman type player. It's been a lot of different organizations at this point, but you've kind of always made made a way to stick in the pro league, and kind of a team has seen value in you. I would say that kind of does speak to some of your skill set, and maybe you always haven't been in the right organization at the right time, but there's a reason why teams want to pick you up and keep you in that pro league, because they do see a good player.
Yeah, it's tough to maintain a value in the league because there's so much that goes into like seeing the field. So some years there, I had an injury coming off of the Aftermath year, and then I sat a lot on the Impact year, so I didn't see the field. So a lot of times that can lower, like if you go a whole year and no one's been saying your name, no one's been seeing you on the field, it's hard to maintain the value. What helps is you get to practice other pro teams. So, you kind of get to show your stuff and, prove to other players like, hey, I belong here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's, helps. Yeah. And I mean, it is funny because you ask, most of the pro guys know the pro league better than anyone outside of it, just because not only are they constantly playing each other in practices or, different events here and there, but just they always want to, they kind of keep their ear to the ground to say, there's, I know a lot of guys are also paying attention to divisional leagues as well, because they're trying to scout potential kids that may be, future teammates or something at the end of the day. So it is funny. A lot of the guys at the top do pay attention to the stuff that's going on kind of around and below them. And of course, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own personal mind and what they're focusing on. But that is something I've started to notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So, and there's there's a play style thing, I think, too, that I'm starting to learn about myself, where putting myself in positions that are going to help me shine versus trying to like fit in someone else's system. It's kind of like it's a good like give and take between those 2 points.
For sure.
Okay, so what's a way on how like get in where you fit in kind of way? What's the kind of thing you practice on getting in and fitting in within an organization that you're new to?
Well, it's weird, right? Because and I talk to teammates about stuff like this all the time, about like this mental dynamic where you have to, it's like my dick is your dick, but at the same time, like everyone wants to be on the field, everyone wants playtime, everyone has like supreme confidence in themselves. So it's hard to be a good teammate, as well as you're like balancing between, I'm your teammate, I'm your homie, I'm part of this family, and also
A competitor.
Fucking in coach. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good way to look at it, actually. Okay. Tim, one of my first memories about you ever, right? So this is when I first tried out for DMG, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to try out for the DMG divisional program. And this is when Andrew White was on the team, right? And I remember we're sitting around and Dave's like kind of doing his thing, giving his speech, but hey, thank you guys all for coming out. And I remember Dave goes, yep, Tim Brusselback. And then Andrew Wyatt, looking down, smug as fuck, goes, Tim Brusselbeak. And dude, that shit hit, bro, blew up, dude. I don't know why, but I thought it was so fucking funny. And that was like the first time I ever like was around you, Tim. That was my first memory of you.
That's funny. Yeah, that's I've got a couple nicknames, but there's definitely like there's like a hazing. So every team I've ever like rejoined or joined or whatever, there's like a hazing, right? Everyone kind of checks your mental.
Yep.
And so Wyatt is a great example. Like he's on the team, we razz him, he razzes us right back. It kind of helps you fit into the mold when you're like tough enough to take a joke, tough enough to laugh at yourself, and then also ballsy enough to poke back at dudes that are established.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That I love that you brought up that point. Some people, dude. I mean, Brando, we've seen it where people come in and like they're not able to handle the camaraderie of it, as you will, because we're just, if you look at us from the outside, people probably think we're like assholes to each other, but it's like, it's just the way we are. We're just, just being the boys. And some people who don't really know that and have never really been around it, it definitely shows. And it's especially hard for those people to fit in.
Yeah. So like, there's a bit of like that mental check. Can you fit in with the kind of vibe? Cause it's only 10 guys on the team, so you really gotta like fit in with those 10 guys. Especially when it comes to like gelling on the field and teamwork and trusting each other and all those things. If you don't fit the vibe, that was one big thing. Travis, called me and felt me out a bit before they decided to pull the trigger to pick me up. Is like his big thing was like, we're a competitive team, but we spend a lot of time together, so you got to vibe with the dudes,
Yeah.
So
no, makes sense. I will say, Hatch, there is a line at times, because I've seen you guys break people who are in the team, where it's like, you've just broken that man. Like, geez, like, calm down. And I'm not even talking about a new person, like someone who's been around it for a while.
Yeah.
I think
definitely
pushing those lines is not necessarily helpful either, because then that just causes other
definite mischief. Definite mischief.
It works against the morale and team bonding kind of. I can't find the right word here, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Sometimes, with that balance of just roasting turns into like the balance of hazing, where you're poking the bear a little too much. But me, love poking bears.
Yeah, you like fighting bears. Yeah, that's your thing.
It is, dude. I don't know why everybody.
Everywhere you go, you talk about fighting bears. I think one day, like, that's going to be that's maybe your mission in life. I think we actually just stumbled upon it.
Dibs on the sun bear, the smallest one possible.
They still look vicious though, bro.
Fuck around and find out, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bear, fuck that.
Fuck, dude. Sun bears?
I think that's the quickest time to bear conversation in podcast history so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I'm a pretty tough dude, and I'm in the mountains, right? And there was a mother bear and her cubs just on the other side of my dog fence. And I ran inside with the dogs real fast. I'm not going to fuck around and find, especially the mama and her cubs. She might fuck you up. So.
Yeah, that's like worse than bloodlusted.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, like, regular bear, you you might be okay. Like, you know, if you don't give it
Probably
any
scare
reason
off
to
a
get
regular
upset.
bear.
But yeah, if it's got cubs, just don't fuck with that. That's not gonna end well.
Hell no, dude.
Acting tall and yelling loud, yeah, maybe, but yeah, I don't think I could. If I was one-on-one with a bear, I don't think I'd win. They're like pain
No.
tolerance. They got claws, teeth.
Dude,
Like,
I
how
think
you
even
gonna, what are you gonna like? You gonna strangle it?
even
Like,
if you
how
had a
you taking
knife,
it down?
dude, that pelt is thick, bro.
Yeah, the knife
You
would
know?
be tough.
Need some like
Even like a-
adamantite or however you say that.
Oh,
That might help.
adamantium? Holy
Adamantium,
shit.
yeah.
Wolverine
I
claws?
think you'd want like a long spear or something. You know what I mean? Like
Keep
you'd
some
want
Yeah.
distance.
your distance, aim for its
but
eyes.
you get like
you know.
one poke.
Yeah, you get like one poke to that motherfucker's on top of
I mean,
you.
you may get one poke.
Maybe.
I mean,
You gotta be a little quicker than that. Come on, we gotta get some lateral movement. We gotta get some stretching into your routine here, Brandon.
all right. I'll get 2 pokes. I'll get 3 pokes. 2 with the stick and 1 with me.
You do the 300, right? You make it count. So when it rears up, you jam it. So if it comes towards you, it dies, right? So it's just gonna have to back up, right? And you just keep waiting for that moment, and right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pick your
absolutely.
shots, find your
Fuck
time.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I like that. Dude, usually these conversations are second half of the podcast kind of time, but I'm liking this,
Yeah,
Tim.
sorry.
I'm liking this. No,
No,
you're good.
it's
I'm
fine.
liking
Pat's
this.
just so happy right
No,
now.
here we go. Here's another question.
What?
No, here we go.
All right.
All right. If it's Tim, if you had 5 liquids dispensed from 5 of your fingers, what would they be?
What the fuck, man?
Okay. Well, water.
Okay, water.
That's big dub.
Does honey count as a liquid?
Ooh,
I would say so. It's like
I
I
think-
mean,
I like
it's-
that.
It's very viscous, but it's a liquid.
Okay, so water and honey.
it's a debate in itself.
I mean, any liquid. Doesn't matter if it's mixtures of liquid or.
Any liquid.
All right, so I'd probably do like some sort of Gatorade or like
Okay.
Pedialyte out of the other.
Just Pedialyte. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm hydrated. You know, I got the water, so, and then all right.
I was thinking maybe going on the offense, maybe get like some acid or something, go for your enemies.
Oh.
So, well, okay.
Jesus.
I was thinking LSD maybe.
Oh, did you make a killing, bro?
Yeah, no,
And
that's
then,
just
holy
instant profit.
Now, are these like constant flowing, or can I like turn it on and off? Like
You can turn it on and off.
That would be,
Okay.
yeah, it's just
I say
constantly.
LSD, and then I don't know, liquid hot magma. Shit.
Oh shit, the offensive. I like
So I
that.
got the offensive weapon. I got the like.
He can also
shit,
just.
LSD could be pretty offensive.
It could, yeah. You could put someone into a bad place. I guess the magma, you could also just like make land, you know?
How wild would that
Holy
be to
shit.
like touch someone's forehead and then give them a hit of LSD? Like, all right.
Holy shit, dude. Have fun. Just like tap their forehead.
Yeah.
Tim doesn't
Oh
need
my
these
God.
powers. This isn't going to be good.
I feel like I'd have to have Baja Blast on a finger at least.
Oh my god.
You know?
It's cliche, but there's some value there.
That's a good one, dude.
Lab created soda to go well.
Maybe, dude, a fucking Pepsi Freeze out of a finger. Holy shit,
Pepsi
bro.
Freeze. That's a very
God.
localized one for you.
Very localized one for
I
sure.
don't know, man. I can't do soda anymore. I think I'm just old, but
Okay.
No, you're
I can
smarter
drink, like,
than
a
us,
quarter of a
to be
soda.
real.
no,
Definitely.
but I went hard on the energy drinks when I was in my 20s, you know, like, and then that kind of like gave me an eye-opening moment where I'm like, I gotta cut all this out.
But definitely, dude. There were some times where I'm like, I cut out energy drinks, not as a whole. Every once in a while, I'll have one, right? Crack a Monster. But dude, there were times where I was like, God damn, I felt like I was almost needing it every day. That caffeine
It
boost.
was a ritual for me and my roommate to go get one and then go to work and all that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
you're like,
NECTR Energy
oh,
helps
man,
a bit
this
too,
is-
because there's been a couple days where it's like, I don't need a full drink. I can just throw one of these in.
Yes, dude.
It's a funny marketing ploy. Like if you just eat, like you don't have to eat a big breakfast, but if you just eat like fruits, hydrate, and maybe a little bit like a light carb with that fruit in the morning, like energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Like,
simple.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do. That's the problem. I never have an appetite in the morning. It's one of
Plus,
the
I don't-
harder
I'm
things for
not
me
a-
to do.
I'm the same kind of way.
You just force it down, just a little bit of stuff, right?
Well, Tim, you don't wake up for the first 3 hours that you're awake in the morning.
Dude,
So
I didn't never used to. Waking up late was my thing, but now that I have a son, I'm up like 7 a.m.
it's been forcing you to now. Good.
Nice,
Yeah,
dude.
it's definitely helping me actually. Like
I never forget
dealing with that morning issue.
2017 Cup. DMG's playing Sunday, and I look over to you at one point during like it's first match of the day, I think, but it's a couple points in, so you've already been playing, and I just look over to you, and you look asleep still. Like you're just kind of not there, and I'm like, it's a good thing they're winning.
But so okay, to give a rundown of that season, because we had to like hustle our asses off to get like funding, like we were, halfway funded by Capital Edge, but we had to do things, we had to ref and we had to help impact in the pits. So we would have, I'd wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. and then go play my 2 matches. And then I need to scout. And then I'd be pitting. So my day would be like 12 hours. It'd be like, go have the meeting after pitting, and then literally just fall asleep exhausted, and then try and wake up again at 6 a.m. or whatever. Like, bro, those are rough.
Sweet.
You don't know it, Tim.
Focus, meditate a little bit.
I still do that shit. I still do that shit.
Well, I was gonna say, Tim, you don't know it, but you just validated about 48 different conversations Hatch has had with me and other people around the team, where it's just like, I'm so tired. We never have fucking time.
Yeah, dude, and that just shows where it's like, dude, even Tim, even back then, like, we had to hustle. Like, there is no fucking free ride, right? Everything is like what you make out of it and what you choose to put into it.
It's there, there's pro teams that aren't full, rides a lot. If you think about like where the funding comes for a lot of the pro teams, there's like paintball companies or a larger company whose owner has a passion for paintball. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
Until we start making, changing the equation of paintball from a traveling circus to like a profitable sports team, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I like the circus. I like that.
I hate the traveling circus. I think it's stupid.
I like that you called it a traveling circus because that's exactly what it is. That's so accurate.
It's a music festival where you just play paintball. Like,
yeah, essentially.
Holy fuck.
We even have DJs going. We just have the smallest main stage in the world.
We don't have music festival. We have paintball at the music festival. It's like until we go like, and I've like spoken in circles about this, but until we go like local stadiums, crosstown rivals, ticket sales at said stadium, we're never gonna find a way to like break the cycle of like, it takes a certain type of hustler to want something so bad you're willing to do all crazy shit to do it. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No,
I could sell paintball tickets to friends if I'm like, hey, this Saturday we're playing, DMG's playing Excessive Crosstown Rivals. There's a beer garden. There's a little kid playground. There's some food vendors, and it's a $10 ticket. Or a $20 ticket. Like, that is a sell that I can do, and I could get my family, my friends, my coworkers, to all come on a Saturday to watch me play. Like,
yeah,
my dad doesn't go to my games anymore or my tournaments anymore because he was spending thousands of dollars a year to try and make it to 2 to 3 events. You know what I mean? And then get nickel and dimed at the festival. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then he's like, dude, I want to be there, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, I mean, a lot of what you said is very valid, even with like the business side. Think of like college football. College football, they do make money from their broadcast TV deals. Of course, they're a big televised sport. But when you jam 100,000 people into a stadium, that I mean. $40 a ticket. I mean, some of those suites are way even more above that. That's easy math right there. That's $4 million of gate. Like, that's
like if the 2 pro teams sell even 100 tickets, and then like
no, but that's what I'm saying is like showing the power of the gate of people being there live, and I do think Tom makes that point a lot of we do need to have a presence and have people there and kind of have it be a thing, and that's where the events that we have currently do a good job because people are there to play their own event, but that's kind of the problem too, is it's like they're there to play their own event. They're not really there to watch like the pro scene. They'll check it out when they have time. They'll pull up Go Sports, but it's not like their main focus of being there.
If you're competing, dude, you barely have time. If you're competing,
exactly. And so
especially if you go like deep Sunday,
empty and Go Sports,
oh yeah, dude,
is low viewing wise.
I mean, look at it like this. Like you play, say, okay, Friday, play your 2 matches, right? Then you're still, say if you're lucky and they're in the morning, right? Then after that, you're scouting, maybe sending some people to do laundry. I mean, because I don't like playing in my grungy shit the next day. Call me spoiled, right? So we obviously send a laundry squad, right? And then at that point, right, it's later in the day, getting everything figured out, timing everything with 10 people getting food. That's wrangling motherfucking cats, bro. Right? Getting everything coordinated for foods.
Yeah, it's ridiculously hard.
Right? And it's like you have to be able to deviate a lot of the work, right? To where somebody's doing the laundry, somebody's doing the food, right? And that's kind of how we've tried through experience. But dude, it is a full-time thing at the event where if you're competing, you're testing paint. There's so many things you have to do where you can't go watch, another pro match. But you try.
Well, and
like Ryan said, you go on Go Sports.
How fucking dope would it be to do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then like the lower divisionals play their game, and you have like a game, So your tournament is at Capital Edge, or your games are at Capital Edge on a weekend, and then only the pro game is on the Sunday, right? So it's like
the qualifiers and stuff.
Yeah, so
I was gonna say that's the schedule football does. There's a reason why high school football plays on Friday nights, college football plays on Saturdays, and pros play on Sundays. There's a reason for that, and it's because that audience has a way to watch whatever division or whatever level they want at the time, and not have to like compete with something else. Obviously, we don't have that many levels in paintball that I think people want to watch and tune into, but I think it does. One of the things you said there was like Go Sports viewership. That was one of the things you mentioned a couple minutes ago, and I think that's something I've talked about. And I think at the end of the day, it's holding us back the most is the fact that Go Sports is behind a paywall, and it's been beaten to death in our sport. And I know that they'll never really change it at this point. Like they've kind of come out, they've never really said anything, but obviously they would have changed it by this point if they could have made it work. So it is kind of sad. But I think you put that on Twitch, you put that on YouTube, you put that on, maybe a couple other random streaming places, X, for who cares? They have streaming now. I think you'd see so much more audience, even in just the streaming side of it, like pretty quickly. Because just right now, people don't even know about us because you have to pay $10 a month to even start to watch the sport.
Dude, just make it free and give it a battle pass. Dude, how have we not thought of this, dude? The typical gaming scene. I mean, you put a fucking battle pass on it, dude.
You're joking, but you're not. I mean, yeah, that could work. I think
Tom Cole, pick me up.
I also do understand that, like, you make a valid point there. Go Sports has to make money. Like, obviously, they can't come to events and pay for people and equipment if they don't make money. Business. I just wish there would be a way that maybe through either, third-party advertising, through, potential, broadcast revenue deals, whatever may come, we just need people to be able to see the sport without paying for it. Because I think that's a huge, that's the big kind of stopper at the moment. And of course, there's going to be something new that comes up. If
it's not free, people are like, all right, now I'm half anywhere near getting interested.
Well, and I'll tell you guys this: there's people who like just straight up stream Go Sports onto Twitch during the events, and they get a couple thousand viewers, and they're just like restreaming. It's not like the official one; they don't talk about it at all. So it's like there's people already doing this. Darren, he cracks down on it. He sends a copyright request, but
cease and desist or whatever.
Yeah, people can do it, and yeah, I think that's the thing I've always kind of said recently in the past couple months is that is a big step we need to take to kind of help our sport a bit. And maybe the ESPN thing works. I've said that, last couple of weeks. We'll see. Yeah, it's kind of waiting on that to happen. But yeah, I think that's the biggest stoppage we have right now of us potentially expanding. And I do love your idea of like having it be more not only localized but have it be set up of like it's a season more so instead of just having the tournament. It's like, all right, we're playing regular season week 3 and then 2 more weeks of that, and then we have like a mid-season tournament or something, and maybe we can still have tournaments but break it up so that there's more ways to watch paintball than just at the one event for the next 3 months.
Plus I feel like that's incentive to make the fields like make their own stadium in a way, to where if that's where the qualifying matches are being played, that's where people want to see it live if they can.
Yeah, I mean, and there is the kind of devil's advocate side of this argument is the amount of money to set up that infrastructure is definitely quite a lot. So
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, it's a little, it's a little pipe dreamish, but I think there is some validity to that schedule, to at least, doing something where it's not so heavily weighed on 5 events a year.
I think if they just start small, like build their stadium in Vegas, run an entire season there for a bit, they save money on all the travel costs, and you know what I mean? Yeah, they've got to buy a property, but now they're not flying people around and flying people to and setting up and taking down and cleaning up and all those things.
Not the mobile circus, right? It's just their circus.
Yeah, building some sort of like consistent, if you build it, they will come kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and then you go from there, right? If it grows from there, then you do an East Coast thing and you split the league up. You add a couple more pro teams. You have all those games there. So, like I was saying, your tournament then looks like, more of a game. So less like shorter games and maybe 2 longer games. So like how old X-Ball used to do it. Like you'd go play 2 games and each game was an hour long and that was your tournament. And then all this stuff just qualifies you for later. So you're not like, there's no Sunday finale at every tournament. It's just like you go play 2 seasonal games there and then you're done. And now you get to watch on Sunday or whatever the pro games that happen for that division, for all the West Coast teams. They would come play all their games on the Sunday. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or Saturday, Sunday, or however you could break up, and then you cut out the, I don't know, the fat or something. And then you maybe do like a partnership so that the D4 and, D5, D4 teams are now doing more local regional stuff instead of having to fly. And then everyone's flying to like a finale or like a, you more so, you can qualify for cup if you go and play well at like a WC or something like that. Like, right.
Hypothetically, kind of,
Right.
No, I like that concept. I think another thing, maybe even if just backing up from like a different format, I think, I know money is the reason why we can't do this now, but just if we had more time at events, I think that would also be cool. There's a lot of other tournaments that happen in the world, but they take place over, let's say, a whole week instead of just a weekend. And especially when you're trying to get 40 matches in 2 days, it is just so tightly packed in that schedule that even another day like we see a cup does help kind of take some of that pressure off. And of course, Tom Cole's easy debate against that as well. We don't have the money to, have people there. Guys aren't making enough where it makes sense for them to take more time off work. And, there's very valid arguments against it. But that is something that I've thought as well could potentially help make it so, games have more time to play. We don't have to go into a single or double deck type situation as often.
Well, split deck is lame.
Yeah, again, these are all kind of pipe
hard
dream type
explaining it,
things because they won't happen. But it would ideas that I think could at least be put out there, and hopefully maybe we'll see come to fruition one day.
It's funny that hey, let's start doing split deck instead of just like doing a West and East Coast league, and then now we can make up for the now you got less teams at each one, so you don't have to do split deck. That seemed more. And now I think one of the biggest issues with paintball is the cost to just travel and do it. Like not even the paintball cost, but just like rental, hotels, flights for the whole team. We're talking like 10 grand plus just for the team to travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's before you even buy a paintball, you're spending, $8 grand or something.
Well, and I think there is a cool thing too with like the storyline aspect of sports is when you split it into the 2 conferences. Okay, let's say you have 2 teams, an Eastern Conference team and a Western Conference team that have just been beating the rest of their conference all year. All right, now there's like that creates this really cool finale that a lot more people are going to want to be invested into because it's wow, these teams have been clearly the best. Who's the best of the best?
Right. Yeah, there's a build up to a finale versus like,
we have build-ups now.
The World Cup win is the best win ever. That's like that feels like the finale versus like when you win Vegas and there's 4 more events. You're kind of like me.
Yeah.
That day you're a fucking champ, right? And you're fucking loving it. But then as soon as you get home, you're like, oh, back to the grind. Like that's pretty much over, you know?
Yeah, I think a point I was trying to make there was there is that build up within the event itself, but it's a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. And since it's not over a season, over a longer goal, you know, like you say, that win doesn't feel nearly as good unless it is, you know, kind of an event like World Cup or Champion Cup, I think. And whatever like, NXL calls it now.
Why do people get so excited about football? Because the story is focused and spread out. And, you know, at a tournament, the story of each team gets lost in the fucking just endless amount of games that go from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're never really getting a good storyline going.
It's this endless slog of just paintball.
Sunday is exciting, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, just sometimes you can get a story like, you know, like when we beat Damage, like that game was huge, right? They were going to get sent home. We were going to go 3-1 for the first time. Like that was a very big, you know.
No, yeah, no, 100%.
But again, that kind of gets lost because I think we were the last game of the day or something. So most people are gone or no one's watching, or people are watching Ghost Wars to scout, not watching the live Ghost Wars. You know what I mean? It's just like, there isn't like a main focus, right? Or
there isn't even like anything in retrospect that's kind of showing that story or kind of helping to keep those storylines going. Like maybe, all right, you guys, if you guys play Damage at the next event, then if Ghost Sports does a thing about that game, they can, all right, hey, you know, Infamous knocked him out last event, and there's some stuff from that, you know, just things to help kind of keep that storyline going, which are things that are hard to do. I mean, you know, when you start to make content that's more long form like that, the documentary, the storytelling side, you start to see why some of that stuff becomes difficult, just because, you know, people are imperfect. It's not an actual story being written, so it's hard to kind of make all those things go together. But with sports, something we see all the time is just the craziest thing tends to happen. You know, whatever sporting league gets in, I think of like the Patriots when they were 12-0 going into the Super Bowl, and then they lost, and this was in the midst of them being the best team in the world by far. And it's like, wow, you know, like that's why guys go out there and you gotta fucking play the game, because it doesn't matter how good you are coming into it, you still gotta win this one. And so that's where those storylines can be set up. Moving off kind of the entrench of the sport a little bit, because we've been talking about the sport a lot. Brandon, I wanted to open up to you. I know you've been kind of down there for a bit. Did you have anything for Tim tonight?
Yeah, I was in Ursa. You talked about during when all the Uprising guys left DMG, the semi-pro team, and you guys rebuilt with it's eventually who won the pro spot. You kind of contemplated on taking a step back or leaving the team, right? Well, I'm just curious, what was your decision to stay?
So Shane. So basically, it was me and Nick Ormrod left because Shane had just left for Texas Storm. It was kind of like you know, he was like the captain of the team. So Shane left. I was kind of like, oh shit, you know, I guess. And me and Nico are looking at each other like, I think we might be the captains of the team now. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like he wanted to stay in the pro division, which I get. And so there was a tryout for Excessive in Modesto. So I wanted to stay pro as well. So I threw I went down there and was trying out, got some calls back from Rich. Basically going to be that like 9th or 10th guy on their team. And then Dave and Duffy showed up at my house and were like, dude, stay, be the captain, rebuild the team. Like we have what it takes and the you know, the infrastructure to get back there where you want to be. So I was like, all right, I'll stay.
Pull my leg hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Against you. Okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting, you know, not expecting them to pull up at my house. That was pretty cool.
Nice. That's fucking badass.
It's like they're believing in you, like they wanted you. Yeah, that must have been really nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
Good.
Yeah. Well, it's like you hear that in sports sometimes, and there's it's Moneyball. There's that example of where they go to get their catcher, and it does actually kind of mean a lot when you're like, well, wow, you actually flew or like drove out to my house to like come talk to me in person. All right, damn, okay, right. I respect that.
So that was cool, and I got to tell you, man, it was like we went 0-4 that first Dallas event. And it was like it was a field layout for me. Like I was shooting 2 people a game and we were still losing. And it was just like, oh my God, what is going on? You know? And Duffy was on the team at the time too. So me and him felt like we were having a good tournament, but it was just like, we just couldn't get the team to like connect or like, I mean, you guys probably understand that jump to semi-pro. You know, you think you're there, you're the local hero, you know, and then you go play the local heroes from the rest of the country, and you play a team that's actually a team and ready to play and bang in that division.
Yeah, and you get fucked up.
It's eye-opening. You're like,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, I don't know the speed of this. I don't understand how to survive. Everyone's shots are on. You know, you go from practicing D3 guys where like I just did a class last weekend, and there's just such a disconnect of like, do you know you can see where your paint is going? Do you know that you're hitting the ground? You're not hitting the target. You know, like there's all these things where you're like, wow, you think you have some accuracy, your accuracy is way off, and so you're going against players like that who, you know, kind of get it but not really. To players that get it, they're almost there to make the jump to pro. And yeah, you get your ass waxed. And that tournament, I regrettably went around and kind of was like shopping myself around. I was like, hey, I don't want to be on this team. You know, we just went 0-4 in a very low point. And actually, Greg Sewers, because I went and talked to him, he was like, dude, you're in a program and you have an opportunity to be the guy. He's like, so because you have this opportunity to be the guy that's got to go win games, he's like, it's going to exponentially jump you to the level you want to be at, because it's going to force you to learn how to carry the team on your back. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to stick it out. And so then then that kind of made me realize like, oh, I need to like put more effort into teaching guys like how to play, trying to, get everyone on the same speed with the game plans, a little bit of an arrogant, like, if you guys just hide for 30 seconds, I'll shoot everybody. You know what I mean?
just stay alive. That's all I need.
Please,
just be a living body, please.
And so, like, there's a fine line that you walk in life, like, cocky and confident. And so it took me a long time to, like, bolster my ego to approach teammates the right way, for going from yelling, you fucking idiot, stay alive, to, hey, all you got to do is this, this, and this. This will give me time to do this. And kind of, bringing my hot head down enough.
Well, because I think that's
to be a captain, to be a leader.
I think that's a valid point you're bringing there, because this is something, you see a lot with younger players. And look, dude, I made the mistake before. Hatch is going to hate me saying this. When you come at someone and say, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you let me fucking die there. What the fuck, bro? When you go out for the next point, he doesn't necessarily want to help you out as much as he could if you came up and said, hey man, like, and you break it down, you kind of work with him. When you go out for that next point, now he's like, shit, all right, yeah, that's my boy. All right, cool, he helped me out. I understand what I made wrong. Let's save him this time. Whereas, that small bit, that riff, it sometimes could almost do more harm than help. And of course, everyone's got emotions. Shit happens when you're just pissed off.
I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying.
A lot of yeah, just go, Ash.
It's so like 50-50, like whether or not you're gonna, like, someone's gonna respond back with like the fiery fury under their ass, of 1,000 suns, or if they're gonna like kind of crumple and be like, oh, I don't, maybe I don't want to help that guy, like you were just saying, Ryan, and it's like those type of people that are like, maybe I won't help Matt, right? That's the kind of people where you really got to talk to them, right? But there definitely are some type of people like me and Marv, Brando, it. Me and Marv, dude, we get in each other's fucking faces sometimes, right? And it's just like the kind of way where it's like we yell at each other, but it's at the next point, it's like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking make that mistake for this guy again.
But that's also, you guys are just the same person in that
exactly,
regard,
right? It's that's why I'm saying it's so 50-50. Either are gonna respond to it that way, or they're definitely not. There is no like middle ground.
you can dig yourself in a hole where you kind of turn everyone against you if you're too arrogant, too cocky, because like you want to get a response out of someone who's not like this fucking asshole or this guy thinks he's way better than he is, or you want their mind to connect with yours as like a unit, as a team. So it took me a while to understand that, and then it also took me a while to understand like you can't be a front snake guy and call plays and be a coach and do all these things. And so I think that was a huge part of DMG's growth, going from a team that was barely making Sunday to we should be in the finals every event, was giving the reins off to the back guys, to the Thomas Kim, to the Josh, and the Mark, those guys, like more so letting them have the reins. And then it became more of like a committee instead of like one guy calling the shots, with like Thomas being the captain. So basically we were like, none of us want to do this. No one on the team wanted to do it. I mean, we were begging for a coach, but the problem is like there's not a big enough incentive for anyone who's got the skill set, especially in that time. Like we had guys that could be like the cat wranglers, but not the like chess X's and O's, rah kind of coach guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like we had help from Terry, we had help from other guys.
You
but
had
we never
management,
really,
but not necessarily coaching.
Right. And the problem is like the people that could be the coach were playing or retired and like, hey man, unless you can cover this huge expense for me and pay me for my time, then I'm not going to do it. And we're already barely making it to the events. So it's like, all right. So we had to figure out the too many Chiefs and not enough Indians dynamic. And we put the headdress on Thomas Kim and all just kind of were like, all right, we're going to have a committee about the field, but you're going to be the one who calls the shots, the lines, the da-da-da-da. And he was playing the 2-3 area. So it was a lot easier for him to like see the field and hear the connection. And, when I'm diving in the snake with my fucking head down, getting shot at by 3 people, like I don't know how the teamwork's going. I'm barely hearing Shane behind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No,
that helped a lot.
Yeah, no, and that's something I kind of witnessed towards the end of, is when you guys kind of came together on that, and it was very cohesive. It was, everyone was in the pits, there was conversations happening. It was, hey, I could do this. There's this bounce shot off this. Marv, let's go up here. And then at the end of that, Thomas would go, all right, here's what we're doing. Get a plan out, and then it would be, all right, we're gonna believe in that plan. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And at that year, it worked more often than it didn't.
Right. Yeah, we got robbed. We should have had a perfect season. We should be up there with Finn. That game against I can't even remember who. It was like 3-2. We're up, or it was like tied, and we were about to win to make it 3-2. But instead, we got some ticky-tacky major that then swung the point. With 8 seconds left, 3-2 them, and we lost. And man, I got to tell you, that match was so shitty because we had every fucking team in the semi-pro division watching it. And when we lost, it was like a together hooray from every fucking person on the sideline. So on top of like, losing in the first fucking round to a team we should never lose to, and then getting the salt in the wounds from every team watching it, cheering that we lost,
Yeah, you guys became the evil empire. They just wanted to see you guys lose. That was it.
I'd love to see a hero fucking die.
And then losing that way too, where it's like,
yeah, it's not even necessarily like them outplaying us. It's like it was, some that could maybe have gone our way, could have gone their way. Yeah, it never feels good.
Josh won that point. He shot the guy looking Dorito side, ran down, bunkered their Dorito dude, ran down, shot their snake dude who wasn't looking his way, but had some paint on his feet.
So Josh things.
So they gave him a major. But like no one even was shooting at him when he made the run through, because Dorito dude was inside and he had shot the guy who was looking at him. So it was like
stepped on a ball.
You know what I mean? It's one of those where you're like
rubbed a bunker. Yeah.
Hey, so it was almost like the refs wanted us to lose.
Wait, on his feet.
He had some like paint like on his ankle or like on his pants, and he was playing that like Dorito corner super tight, so probably just rub or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Around. I mean, there's refs watching him the whole time, and then he takes off running, no shooting at him, bunkers the guy clean, then shoots the snake guy who's also not looking at him, and then they throw the major. Yeah. hey ref, no one was looking at him when he just did that. So how is that possible? You know?
Yeah.
But there's no. I mean, once the call's made, there's no. What are you gonna?
There's no going back.
It was
dude.
there a
There's
sniper
no
in the
going
woods?
back.
Like what? How the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those like, you know, you try to like, hey, head ref, like this was the situation, this is what happened, like your guy fucked it up, but there, like I said, there's no like you can't take it back. There's no like restart. So you know, you hope for something like just for the ref to get yelled at or something, but that doesn't ever happen. So
at no point they'll ever like reset a point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tim, my bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, that was one of the that was a tough one. And then because it was a 9th place, we had just won 2 in a row, and then that night, or no, we'd won 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So we were looking at not getting the pro spot because of that 9th place, and it was like, how are we going to win 3 out of 5 and not get a pro spot? Like it was like, oh my god, we might have just ruined this for ourselves.
And that was before double points.
That was before double points. Oh my god, that's the dumbest shit ever. The double points.
No,
so stupid.
Well, and I was just gonna say, it wasn't until you guys won semifinals that you secured your spot. So essentially, one bad tournament made it to where, and not even a bad tournament, just a 9th, made it to where you essentially had to be top 4 to move on.
To move to
top
make
2.
It the,
sorry,
you know, because and I don't want to take anything away from Fit, but we had like 10 pro teams in semi-pro because a lot of those players and teams are in the pro division now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, dude, that was a hard making Sunday division, like I said, nothing to take away from Fitz 5. That's incredibly impressive, especially because last camp was, arguably a even team with them, but
yeah. No, and you made the point earlier, but I mean, I guarantee you, if Camp won one of those finals last year, Fit has a lot of fans, but there would have been a lot of people pretty happy to see them dethroned, to see Cole upset about losing one or something. So it was they were on the knife's edge there. It was kind of, once you get to 4 or 5 or 3 or 4, it kind of becomes like, oh shit, we really have to finish this out. I feel
like at that point, if Camp like beat Fit at that point, all the photographers would be in Fit's pit to either see them win or see them lose. Either way, on Fit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So human psychology, you start to pick up on winners and people like winners. That's just a human trait. Humans like watching the guy who wins over the guy who loses. And sometimes
underdog.
And sometimes there are still fascinating stories with the guy who loses, but a majority, it's a lot easier to sell to an audience the guy who is on top currently. And you see that, I mean, dude, is anyone talking about Dynasty right now? No, they're talking about Russian Legion because they just won 2 tournaments in a weekend. And that's just how people's brain starts to work.
Matty Marshall doesn't seem to be able to talk about any team but Dynasty.
Okay, that's Matty Marshall, and I think they've just been best friends for 25 years now, so that helps. But
my God, we're watching a finals that doesn't have Dynasty in it, and he's still talking about Dynasty. I'm like, bruh.
Well, he had to get him there mentioned. I think he has a contract. No. I think it's in there.
He's on the payroll.
Yeah, it's something we don't know about, some NDA, something like that. But no, and I think that is just that's how paintball goes. That's how any sport goes. When I remember when the Warriors kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. When I was young, no one was a fucking Warriors fan, and then Steph Curry shows up, and now everyone's wearing blue and gold jerseys around. Winner, people like watching the winning team, so that definitely helps. What, Brandon? Started making noise down there.
Because I honestly didn't even know we had a second basketball team in the Bay Area. I thought it was just the Kings. I didn't know there was a Warriors team until Steph Curry came. Dude, I mean, I didn't follow basketball because it sucks as a
Steph
sport.
Curry came. I thought you meant currently. I was like, what the fuck? How?
No, Brandon. For me, it's the same way. I didn't know we were at a second basketball team until Curry came along as well.
Yeah,
the exact same way.
You can't call Sacramento the Bay. That's like
we're not either. We're Northern California.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's what I said.
That was a misquote. NorCal, Northern California.
It was a misinput.
My bad.
But
I love that meme. Like, I'm from the Bay, and it's like just a fucking map of like everything around.
It's like you're from Vacaville. It's like, no, you're not. Yeah. You're not from the Bay.
They're like, dude, I get breeze from the Delta, dude. Of course I'm from the Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who doesn't live in Northern California, because you probably don't understand what we just talked about, but hey, appreciate you being here. Let's jump back on in. since we have you, Timmy, I thought it would be kind of dumb of us to not at least talk about your current squad and what's going on with you guys, because you had a very impressive start to the season. Infamous looked very good in Vegas, and something happened in Texas. Whatever happened, but I think there was positive things to take away from this last AC event. There was some of that form kind of from Vegas returning. It definitely looked more like that squad than the Texas squad, so that's positive. I guess, but it's from your perspective, how has the season gone so far, and kind of what are your thoughts on the team at the current moment?
So I feel like we really, really bonded and meshed last year. We kept the core the same, and we had a pretty good season last season, and the confidence and the cohesion was really high coming into Vegas, and that practice. So we've been talking about like playing free, and which is kind of like you have the confidence, but the expectations are gone. So you know that you can win and you want to win, but you're not putting yourself on this pedestal that when you get knocked off of it, it throws your game off, right? So like and I call it quicksand, right? When something goes wrong, you're coming back to the pit with confidence still and with a positive problem solving attitude. And so I think the problem was we went to Vegas, we had all that success, and then we went into that next mega practice with this like huge expectations of like we have to build off of where we were. So now we're expecting to just dominate at this practice, and we didn't at all. We got our asses kicked, and so I think that like really put us in quicksand in like a mental, right? Even all the way up to Travis, like even you could tell he was losing faith, right, and kind of scrambling.
And so as we all know from kids, once you start fighting against quicksand, it only takes you further down.
It gets worse, right?
Because
so then we went.
Did you guys ever have that worry too? Sorry, that you would have to deal with quicksand as an adult. I thought that would like be a thing in my life. No? All right.
No, a lot of movies with that, but either way, so we go into the Thursday practice before the event and we get our butts kicked again, and that's when I noticed the like vibe of the team was no longer like positive camaraderie, but more like a cockiness of like, why are we playing certain people? I should be on the field. This is why we're not winning, and this is kind of like a vibe we are all having. I felt like not just me, but like I felt like everyone was kind of feeling that way a little bit, and I could see Travis was like kind of shook, like, none of these plays are working, none of my lines are working that were working. What do I need to change? And so it was just like every match became, like I always look back at that first match against Damage. They looked at our personnel and scouted us well off the personnel, and we made one mistake that cost us the point, but we were in the driver's seat, right? Like we shot Rain off the break. We had all the wide spots and the snake. We made one mistake on the Dorito side, and Bouchier shot all 5 of us, right? So the like vibe of panic now comes in full force. Instead of just going, hey, Joe, you need to make this change, put the 5 back out there. This is the change. This minor change is made, and we should be looking good. Like we just showed that we could bang on the snake side, and we just needed to make. But instead, we like panicked, changed up the personnel, the play. Now they're scouting that personnel, and it just was a spiral downward of like we couldn't catch like a momentum in our favor, right? So we get smacked by Damage, and then now we're like deep in the quicksand, oh my God, no one has confidence in each other now. I can tell Travis has no confidence in the plays, in the personnel. So now we're like changing them mid-tournament, trying new things mid-tournament, trying to fixating on issues for personal issues. So now our meetings are like, this is what I think. Now everyone's putting that chief hat on instead of just being like calm, boost each other. It's okay. Try and stay positive, And so we just floundered in the quicksand all tournament and just could not pick up momentum or confidence. So then coming into this event, we were like, all right, now we can only go up from here, and so that pressure is taken off, the expectations are taken off. This practice coming into this event was like the one we had at the beginning of the event, like very like fun and lighthearted, and when I say fun, I mean we're still like at each other's throats about like making the right decisions on the field, but in such a way that it is a like positive problem solving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then I wish this wasn't a blind layout, because I feel like we would have been able to really, and it's tough when you have a roster of 10 dudes that all should be on the field as a coach, because then you're like, okay, I want to try this guy, I want to try that guy. But if I'm a coach at a blind layout, I probably am going to play 5 guys, 6 guys, maybe, because it's a blind layout. You want to get reps, you want to start learning, because the process is learning, right? So like if I'm going every other point with the front guy, I'm getting that many less reps, and I'm going up against an all-star who's getting every rep. So now they're gaining momentum on me because I'm not learning as fast as they are, if that makes sense, right?
Definitely.
It's a strange, so there's like a whole new dynamic, I feel like, for blind
Creates a
layouts
completely different meta, and like how you approach it, how you make rosters and lineups.
Yeah, so now it's kind of tough, and we don't have like reps at shots off the break, and so like trying to call game plans for shots that and like I said, we're all riding the edge of cocky. So if my coach says, do this, can you shoot this? I'm gonna say, fuck yeah, I can. You know what I mean? But have I made that? How many times have I made that shot on this layout? 2 times, 1 time, So like, it really, the blind layout just kind of shows like how sharp certain people are at fundamentals, how well a team can learn and adapt and kind of mesh well with the 5. And so we see teams like, like the Russians, they play the same 5 guys the whole time, right? So
since Thursday. Yeah.
They really, really are meshed well, right? And you look at Impact, they ran 2 lines. So you're playing the same guy every time in the same spot. Like I felt like I did the best I've ever done coming off the bench cold and playing multiple spots. Like I played 3 different spots this blind layout. But did I feel as confident as I would have if I played the same spot on not a blind? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's an interesting meta, right?
Yeah, and it kind of, in my head, the way I want to say it is like it almost creates a vibe check where it's like instead of having a weekend to fully get the strategy completely dialed in, find the bounce shots, all the whole 9 yards, to get it, instead of getting it perfect, is your team good enough to come here and battle and figure it out as you play? Kind of having that first practice day live in regulated games. I mean, you guys been at pro practices. There's some teams that those first couple of days, it's not very productive. They figure it out eventually, but it's, they're dug into something that's not right. Maybe someone's claiming they could do something and it doesn't work, and then it creates, chaos within the team. And so essentially it's kind of creating that environment in a live tournament though, where you can win or lose something. So it does, it tests the team's cohesion and ability to work well.
I like the whole concept of quicksand. The thing that helps me try to stay out of that mindset is like when we won World Cup, dude, we got shit on at practice. So I kind of use that on my back. I'm like, well, we won World Cup getting shit on, so we can do it again.
Exactly.
That's the one way out, keeps me out of quicksand for sure.
Yeah, and
I've definitely won tournaments where we've had bad practices, but it's I think you can have a bad practice and still be really productive in the practice. But I think when you have a bad practice and you've fallen into that panic mode or like that loss of cohesion because you're kind of like second guessing all the decisions, you're second guessing the coach, you're second guessing your teammate, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
when you come off and go, that was a learning experience, this is what I did wrong and it won't happen again, and you kind of build off of those it won't happen again moments, then you get to the tournament and you're sharp because you're like not making the same mistakes, right? And that's a big part of it too, is that 0-4 tournament we were making, like we would talk about something in the meeting and then go do the opposite, So, and I don't know if that's just because of our mindset or just because sometimes, like a lot of little things can go wrong and then you go 0-4, you know what I mean? Like we're bouncing people and then we're breaking paint in our guns and then, so it's like,
and then it starts to rain during our game.
Yeah, or like Vegas, that was some of the best paint I've ever shot in my life. You know what I mean?
So good.
that can help a lot. You know, when you're on and it's breaking on people, like that is huge. And I don't want to make excuses, but you know, was the paint as good in the 0-4 tournament? No, not nearly as good. Were we having issues? Yeah. Were we morning games and we weren't morning games in the first event? Yes. Like there's all these little things that add up. And then, you know, I think that just also that expectation, right? Like something I used to talk to Thomas Kim about was like when you want something too much, it messes with your head. So you almost have to like not give a fuck about the outcome. You're still like striving for perfection, but you're like your ego is not getting rocked by this too high of an expectation. You know what I mean? And I think that was a big part of our 0-4 event, that second event.
Okay, gotcha. That's taking my notes.
Good
You're
little,
taking my mental
sports
notes.
psychology note there. Write that down, all you divisional players.
Right there, dude.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Kind of, you know, moving off that a little bit because I know we're getting deep into the show, and I did want to give you some time to talk about it. You know, going off the mentality things, was this something you maybe touched on a little bit in your masterclass? I know you did have a clinic recently, and we were gonna have you on before, but timing didn't work out. Right. So you know, what do you cover in those, and you know what? I guess what. Run me through a Tim Brusselback masterclass.
Yeah, so we're doing, you know, technique, mindset, and game theory. So obviously, technique is a big part of like jumping from, you know, beginner up to advanced up to like semi-pro. And that is just what I like to call correction and direction. So like a lot of paintball it's such a young sport, and there's so little people that are willing to stay in it and help new people, that a lot of the majority of players are living on their own. I know, like, you know, we were all self-taught, you know, like sometimes the older dudes would help us, but mostly they were just like, I mean, I come from a section of paintball where like you're just getting hazed. You're never getting coached by the older guys or like the open team or the D2 team. They're like fighting for your spot, and so if you look like you could take their spot, they're not going to help you, and then you're getting bunkered in the neck a bunch. And so like that's what I grew up in. And so like it's very like if you're tough enough and you can figure it out, you can progress, but you're also like learning bad tendencies and picking up bad habits, and because you're not getting like corrected ever, you know. So like a big focus on the technique is someone who knows how to do things in the right form, watching you every rep, giving you correction every rep, giving you direction into reps so that you're seeing yourself progress, right? Like then like mindset is like we just talked, the sports psychology stuff, like how to set goals, how to approach people, how to keep your head on straight and lean into things that you're bad at, right? So like here's a for instance, like I can juggle, right? But I can juggle with one hand really good with my right hand. I'm really bad with my left hand. So I automatically, when I'm fucking around, go to my right hand, right? Instead of just like leaning into the thing that I'm bad at and failing a bunch with my left hand. So it's similar to paintball. You have to have a mindset of like, I'm not going to be afraid to go do this snap drill or shooting drill or sliding drill while this pro watches me. I know I'm bad at this. So it's kind of like you get this fear of like not being good at something, and you let that stop you from failing and progressing, right? And then game theory is kind of more advanced, but it starts with basic stuff. You know, it starts with like when you're the last two, you cross up, and these are kind of like the beginner rules that lead into more technical teamwork stuff. And I haven't had a good enough advanced class yet to even go further than that. But that's the hope. I want the class to be like by month or 2 classes a month, 1 advanced class, 1 beginner class, with maybe some sprinkled in like personal team trainings here and there. And the goal for the whole thing is to graduate people, right? So like if you start my class beginner, my goal is that you graduate to the advanced class, and then by the end of the advanced class, depending on your goal set that we, you know, each member of my class is going to make a set of goals, and I'm going to teach them how to dissect your large goals into smaller goals that are attainable, and setting like realistic timelines. There's a quote I like that is, we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. And so like
That's a good one.
that
Great one.
kind of mindset leading into your goal sets, where it's like, I want to go pro. Well, okay, let's dissect, so that's your goal. So now we're going to like branch that down into a bunch of other goals that all have their own different timelines. And so, if you start in my beginner class, we're eventually going to graduate into that advanced class. And then from there, based on what your big goal is, you'll graduate my class either with knowledge of how to maintain your skill level and your health, or go off on your own with a training regimen that you've learned to progress into the goals you set, right? So like the point of the class is that you're graduating and you don't need me anymore, right? So like I don't want it to be like a personal trainer that's giving you a very small amount of increase that you notice, so that you need to stay with them forever, where like I want you to progress so fast that you're like, wow, I did your class for a year and we reached the goals that I set, and now I have the knowledge to go and train on my own with my teammates.
Yeah.
And
No,
not
exactly.
Kind of
Yeah, it's the kind of teaching someone to fish almost philosophy, instead of just
Definitely.
this is my clinic, come to it every 6 months. I'm going to be doing one at the field, come show up and I'll help you a little bit. It's no, here's some classes, and then once a couple months after that, you should have a lot of the basics that I'm teaching here, and then you can kind of go experiment with those yourself and see what starts to work more for you.
Yeah, so you'd graduate from the beginner class, right? And then either decide, are my goals with paintball to be higher than this, or now I've kind of got the skill set to, have fun with this sport. And so, do you want to move on to the advanced class or not? As well as I want to teach people that you don't have to spend so much money to get value out of your practice, right? So what I see is a D3 player goes and buys 2 cases of paint on a Sunday, right? And they shoot through the 2 cases of paint in like 10 points. Maybe they got shot off the break 3 or 4 of those points. So maybe they got like 6 good reps, but no one's there to give them direction or correction. So those 6 reps were probably not good reps. And you probably don't know what you did right. You don't know what you did wrong. And, so if you want to be a professional at something, you need to spend 10,000 hours doing it. But those 10,000 hours can be reduced to a lot lesser amount of hours if you have the direction and correction, right? So,
well, and I think something you could talk about, Tim, but that's something that DMG has, or DMG Capital Edge, I guess in general, has already has had for a long time. When you guys were there, the team's following in your guys' footsteps. There's always been people who are at that higher level to kind of help point out things, but it hasn't been more so directed. And so I know a lot of divisional guys would come to the field and try to, they'd pick up small things here and there, but they want to get the full picture. And I think that's maybe a little bit more of what you're kind of helping guys out with.
So the problem with like a system like that, and how it has been, and why I want to change it, is like, you can get, if I have time and I see something, I'll walk up to you and give you a pointer. But a lot of times you're either noticing someone who's already kind of got it, and now you see it's easier to kind of push them in the right direction. Like when I watch a beginner playing, I'm less likely to go speak game theory to them because they don't look like they would even understand,
they don't know how to hold a marker, and it's like, all right, we got to start there, and
they got to crawl before you could walk,
right? And so a lot of times that help is going to be directed towards people who are already kind of like past that phase, you know what I mean? So
okay.
And like I said, you're going to go out and spend 100 on a Sunday and only get so many good reps, whereas if you go, all right, I'm going to spend that extra $20 on a Saturday, and my case that I buy might last me 2 of my classes, because I can make a whole 2-hour, 3-hour practice for myself on 1,000 rounds. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get like really, really good reps from that 1,000 rounds of paint, right?
Yeah.
So, and then that'll translate, right? So what I'm teaching you in the class on that Saturday with a small amount of your paint budget, So now you can take it to your team practice on the Sunday and start applying it to the team and, really start getting a good, so let's say even if you are a 2 case a weekend person, like you can't spend more money than that, well then take 500 rounds of that even to my class, right? And I can show you how to play and how to progress on your own, and then you can take that knowledge to your team. And you've only wasted, I would say you'd probably get more value out of that 500 rounds at my class on a Saturday than you would on the rest of your,
Yeah. Well, it's something
3,500 rounds that you'd shoot on
I've seen one of your teammates, but Joe Baird has talked about this. I've seen him post about it a couple times, and maybe when we were in person, he's talked about it. But just the value that you can get from a bag of paint and really focusing on what you want to do with that bag of paint. If you're playing, like you said, 7 points a day, 6 of those reps you actually get to play. Okay, you're going to work on your snap, but you're not really going to work on that. And so, yes, there's the game, the knowledge aspect of it. But, if fundamentally you just don't even know how to slide, all right, well, grab your marker and go slide in the Doritos a couple times. Like, you have to work on those things, and you can kind of dial those in with even a small amount of kind of paint investment into it. But if instead of just coming out and shooting 4 balls at the target every time, all right, really be, okay, 1 ball every time, come back in, try to make sure I'm hitting that target, really dialing in on the small parts of it.
A lot of it too is this thing I picked up from, I used to run track as well. And my coach was a Olympic, he didn't get to the Olympics, but he was right there. Right. And he always said that like practicing perfect is more important than getting multiple reps, right? So when we would do like jumping and sprinting workouts, it was like full recovery every time. Like we were never doing anything tired. It was always like, all right, you guys are back to 100%. Okay, we need to practice. Because his theory was if you're tired, then your majority of your reps are practicing the wrong body movement, right? So same type of theory. If you don't know the right body movement, if you don't know the right theory, you're practicing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? You're kind of working against yourself. So like learning those things going into a Sunday practice is really important, right? Like if you're snapping wrong every single time, but you're not playing good players, then it doesn't matter, right?
You can get away with
build bad habits, and you get away with more, all that.
Yeah. No, very, very valuable things there. I think you are a guy who's been in the sport for over a decade now. And I mean, I've definitely learned a lot talking with you. You're one of my favorite pros to kind of pick the brains of, you and a couple other guys that we see out of Capital Edge. So I mean, I think it is very valuable. Not everyone talks about they have their clinic, they have this, a drill day with me or something. But I think there is a lot of value to what you're offering to people. And I wanted to, kind of have you mention some of that, because I think people should definitely check it out.
Seems different than just a normal clinic. Seems like way more personalized and way more in depth, especially since you're looking
classes,
for
I want
already
them
developed.
To be capped. I want them to be capped at 10 people. The couple that I've done have been a little bit too many people. I think I did one with 20 people and then one with like 12 or something. And that's the point is, if you go spend $100 at a clinic with 50 people, you're standing around a lot. You're not getting that personal direction and correction from the pro. So this is very like 10 people max per class, maybe multiple time slots, depending on how many people start signing up for it. But it's made to be for you as a player, not like a catch-all for a majority. It's like you're going to get a personal look from me and a personal training regimen. So on, not just on the day of the class, but like I get everyone's phone number and I'm, getting their goals from them and then setting up a training regimen for them off the field. Like I had this beginner girl. I think she plays like 3-man or D5 CPL with her husband and her friends. And just kind of like giving her a off field, hey, when you're at home, you need to do this with your gun, at least for 20 minutes or 10 minutes a day, you need to do, this with a mirror in your gun. And just because and I haven't gotten to coach that type of beginner yet. It's always been a D3 or D4 player who kind of has got it figured out. I've never actually full beginner. All right. We're starting at ground zero here. And
working all the way up. Yeah,
that's pretty cool because now it's like she's got no bad habits yet, you know what I mean?
You get to truly
yeah.
mold.
It's like-
It's a blank canvas, and you get to
Right.
mold whatever you want. And then they get to develop into their own player.
I was gonna say, Brandon, when he was talking about what you need to do with your marker at home, how far away is your marker from you?
Right here.
Yeah. See,
Fucking right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
you'll
needs all
notice
the
it during
practice.
podcast shows too, but like there's times he's just
Nice.
playing with it and fidgeting with it and holding it, and it may seem kind of dumb, but hey, at the end of the day, if you're gonna use this thing a lot, you're gonna want to be comfortable with it. Like
No
you're gonna
way,
want to
no
at
way.
least hold it and feel like, all right, I know
It
what
should
that
be an
weight feels
extension
like.
of your arm. It should be an extension of you.
I know when a
Yeah,
lot of people
that was
grab their
a-
phone, it's just like, oh, that's a natural thing. I know what my phone
Yeah.
weighs and what it feels like. All right, you should know what your marker weighs and feels like and how to move it.
Absolutely.
And that was the point with her, was like, hey, you need to start getting cut. She's like, hey, how are you aiming? Like, how are you aiming? And I'm like, I don't even think about that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking. I look at something and the gun comes up and shoots at the thing I'm looking at. I'm not thinking about like, is my barrel high enough? Is this? And that just comes with, doing the right drills and getting comfortable with your gun. Mine is sitting next to the hallway that leads to my room. Like I walk by it, pick it up every now and again. I just finished a workout where I'm using it, in the workout so that I get used to just holding it. Like even in football, I would wear my helmet at home to the point where it would feel like a part of my head and
Just watching
You know what I
TV.
mean? Seriously.
Yeah, it's locked in.
Definitely.
Yeah, you gotta mold it too.
It's almost like that with my mask, almost, where I'm just like, my mask is on so often, especially when I'm at the field, right? To where, I mean, I wear it at home when I'm like fucking gaming, right? But
that would be pretty funny.
that would be pretty sick.
Master Chief locked
But-
in. That's a meme. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Fuck.
My
I got-
wife wore a mask the other day. I think she was just Modesto. She had to walk to the netted area through a non-netted area, and it was hot. It was really hot. And she got there and she's like, "How the fuck are you breathing in this thing?"
You kind of
Yeah, I
forget
know,
that
it's
it
hot.
restricts
You
you
get
at a
used to
certain
it.
point.
Yeah, you're just kind of used to that oxygen deprivation, Just kind of used to it now.
Yeah.
CO2, that's fine.
Shit.
Whatever.
Hey,
It's okay. We got more red plates.
I wanted to ask him, do you have a set schedule right now for these classes coming up?
That's something I'm trying to figure out. We were kind of just throwing them in to get interest. So I need I'm trying to make it around the CEPL. So I think the CEPL is this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it this weekend?
I think so. So I'm
Oh,
gonna take
fuck.
this.
Heads up, Hatch.
I'm gonna take this next week after the CEPL I'm gonna give that week. Everyone usually people take that weekend off. Like usually the weekend after events is like a dead weekend. So I'd probably just give that whole week off. Reaching out to everyone who's signed up already and getting in touch with the two fields to like coordinate with them, and then try and make it a twice a month thing where it's like, one weekend I'm in Capital Edge, the other weekend I'm in Modesto, and back and forth.
Okay. Good. Yeah, that'll be cool. And then another thing was, you said you didn't have enough for the advanced class yet, at least, right? Do you?
Yeah. So right now I'm kind of evaluating everyone, and then when I get everyone's goal set right, that's when I might move people into advanced. So like, for instance, I got an older gentleman. His goal sets are like, I want to play when my kid turns 10. I want to be, longevity. I want to, win a CEPL. I want to move up one division. So he's not like, I want to go pro, right? So he might stay in the beginner class, or potentially graduate faster out of it. But then there's, if I get someone who's, far advanced skill wise, like, I had two guys in this last class I did where like, landing drills, running and gunning drills, snap drills. It was like almost zero correction given to them. You know what I mean? Little corrections here and there. Those guys should be in the advanced class because now it's going over like, gunfighting theory and, game theory and walking fields and that kind of stuff, teamwork stuff that, okay, how to snap, how to shoot off the break. Like you understand these nuances. So let's move on. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that, what's tough is it's like I have all their names and phone numbers, but like I know so many people and names and stuff. So I need like probably one more class with everyone, and then at the end of that class, I'll be like, okay, hey, I think you should move up and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think something that you brought out there, you know, guys moving up to the advanced class, you know, when they're, you know, let's say, you know, they're spending money to be spending time with you and to get in your education or kind of your teachings. So yeah, you know, guys like that, it makes more sense to be working on the more finer things when, okay, now maybe next Saturday they can go out, bring 2 bags out and work on, you know, the drills that you've taught them in the basic class, you know. All right, cool. You know, now I can, oh yeah, Tim, I got to remember my left elbow always goes out. All right, cool. You know, remember that as I'm working on this. Whereas
like that off the class stuff where it's like those advanced class people, you know, they're going to have a regiment that's like, all right, you're with your buddies, like you don't need to pay me to come out and do these beginner class drills, but you guys should be doing these beginner class drills with each other, right? Like this is something that you should either finish your practice day with or set aside a time to come and do it. You know, let's say your team plays 2 weeks a month. Well, fucking hey, maybe that Saturday, that third, you know what I mean? Come out and do those drills, even if it's a short day for you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need 6 hours to shoot 2 bags of paint for drills.
Right.
I mean, you do need a couple hours, you know, but yeah, like you can get out there in the morning, get it done. You know, let's say you still have something in the afternoon, you could still make that commitment. So, no.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
there smart ways to become a better. There are ways to do it for sure.
Budget ballers for the win.
Dude,
Yeah,
That's me, bro.
I owe that a lot to my success, I think, when I was younger, because I was the guy like going around and collecting. Oh, there's a pod with 10 paintballs in that. Pour that in a bag. You know. Oh shit. The open division guys, they get free paint at practice. They don't give a shit. So they're leaving little quarter bags of paint in their pit and I'd be like that scavenger going around like putting like all that. I'd have a bag.
Hell yeah.
500, you know. And then I'd play a whole weekend with just that 7-man. You know, got to make all my shots count. You know what I mean?
I do have to give a shout out to most, and I don't know all pro teams, but the pro teams that I've witnessed, at least at practices and stuff I've been around, a lot of the guys are really good about, all right, we've got 3 cases open, let's just go give it to some kids at the park so they can go practice, instead of trying to like, can we get a refund for this, you know, there's some sealed bags. And so like, you know, it's funny because it seems small, but little things like that, like, yeah, that kid remembers when, you know, Yosh Rao walks up to him and handed him, you know, a case of paint to go practice with. Like, you know, that's the little stories that kind of build those fandoms that, you know, then people have moving out their life.
Definitely.
So
I still remember the tips that Tim gives me.
Yeah.
Still remember.
yeah.
I remember there was one point where I completely fucked up a point, right? And then he told me, and I was like, God damn, dude, so wise.
What was it? What'd you fuck up? You still remember?
I remember it was like, so me and
Sorry,
him
man.
were playing on the snake side. I think we lost our guy. I was playing the 2, he was playing the back center. We lost our front snake guy. I'm like, yo, I got it. And then before switching him to make sure he had the job covered, I already went out to the corner. I bumped out, and they matched me, right? And then it just fucked the entire dynamic of the point up because, right, shouldn't have let that guy filled out, right? I should have just told, hey, Tim, watch this gap, right, so I can make my move instead of just doing it independently, thinking I could do it. So I definitely remember that one for sure.
Yeah. Well, great point.
Great learning lesson.
Yeah, I always enjoy it when you come out, Tim. Helps us out, you know, having another pro guy out there giving us tips. Also, I remember playing the Sepples and coming off after points, and like you're like chrono ref or something. You're walking by, you're like, "Hey, slow down. You know, play a little slower. Wait for you guys to catch up." It's like, thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, those are the. Oh god, I don't miss reffing. I don't miss it at all. You guys, it's not that big of a deal, and you know, for what you guys get out of it, it's worth it for sure. But it's like, now that I'm older and like
Type 2 fun.
By the back end of it, it's like when I'm like, all right, wife, I'm back from the long, you know, paintball vacation. Thanks for doing everything and holding the fort down. Oh, you want to go on a date? Well, guess what I'm doing this weekend.
That is so fucking relatable.
Sorry, you know, and then that's like you get the eye roll, you get the pressure from the girl on the other side of your life, and so like value of reffing is fucking astronomical. Like hell yeah, it's worth it. But like you just got this pull of time where you're
It's a balance.
basically like your balance is always off because you're just doing so much for paintball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So relatable, bro. Speaking my language.
Cutting your balls off and getting shot by some scrubs is not.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I think it was 2 episodes ago, this kid, it's like 3-man, right? So kid's like maybe 3rd time playing ever, dives into the snake, bro. As soon as he like belly flops in, squeezes the trigger on the gun. I'm looking the other way, dude. Spinal taps me, bro. Oh my god, I'm telling you, dude. I make this joke a lot, but I was like, if that guy was shooting any hotter, I'm for sure Professor X. I'm being paralyzed. I'm fucked.
I don't know. That's a little bit dramatic. It's a little bit dramatic, but
I don't know, dude. It felt so bad, bro.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug, man. Like you like when you have adrenaline going, paintballs do not hurt. But when you're just standing there and you're in your head and you're just thinking about stuff, and all of a sudden you take a hot one, like, oh my god, those hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Well, and my experience too, it's always the ones you don't see coming. Because like I've filmed lanes before, and yeah, it doesn't fucking feel good to sit there and get ripped by paintballs, but the one that hits your hip out of nowhere, you're like, what the fuck, man? Like,
or
it's
the neck or something.
Yeah, it's like that's the one that you're like, oh shit, and the rest of the day it hurts. And meanwhile, you have 12 other on you that you're like, I don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. You saw them coming, so your body like.
I think you're just like kind of enduring your body. You're like, focusing your body up to where it's just not gonna hurt. But then you catch the one heater from the side. Man, that one's worse than 10.
Fully relaxed.
I really hope this shot is used. But last year when I was filming for Hormesis, we were filming. I forget which game it was, but I was filming that snake where they had the home to the snake. I think it was Chicago or maybe Mal last year, where essentially snake guy would go to the 50 and then just fight the home unless there's a snake dude in front of him. And so I was sitting there, and dude in front of the snake guy dies, so he starts rapping, and all of a sudden it just gets hot as hell. And I remember hearing it was like Rainy and a couple of the X Factor guys. They're like, "It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. Just move." And meanwhile I'm sitting there, and it's dope footage because you can see this whole battle, all the paint flying everywhere, but it's just getting laced for it to happen. So yeah, it takes some pain tolerance to do either a filming job or reffing job too at the end of the day when you're out there just catching heaters all day long.
So I think the reffing could be so much better if the day was shorter. Like it's like
goes back to time.
It's such an endurance run.
That first 4 hours, I'm like the best ref ever. And then the last 4 hours, you're just like, kill me now. Please,
I want this to be over.
Bro, the J-Bo voice that plays in my head where I'm like, I have to fucking focus up. Don't be a bitch, Hatch. Like, that shit is in the back of my head every fucking time. Is
that your replacement for like a father figure at this point? Like, do you just have a Jordan voice in your head?
That one's for sure when reffing, because I remember, dude, he would get pissed. When I would sit down, he'd be like, get up. He would be pissed if I would sit down.
Don't lay down, you little bitch.
Don't be a bitch, Hatch. And then I remember, meanwhile, that motherfucker was getting armbarred by Austin Kane in the middle of a fucking reffing day, and I was like, holy shit, that was a wild experience, bro.
Oh, you need to throw that out.
I will never forget that one, dude. I will never fucking forget that. And then he gets tapped out by Ivan after, dealing with a bloodlusted J-Bo. So.
All right.
That was
quality job reffing, guys. Having matches on the side.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving forward a little bit. Okay. I had 2 places I could have gone. Let's go forward. This is actually another project one of your teammates is working on, but it was something I wanted to bring up tonight. Last week I spent a couple hours kind of just spending time in the 2 paintball games. So what I did was I would pull up either Paintballers or Infinite, and I would just play a match for 15 minutes. And then I would go right over to the other one and play a match for 15 minutes over there, and just kind of like bounce back and forth and kind of feel the differences, see, where they're both at. First off, shout out to both dev teams, because the projects where they're at today is so much further ahead than what me and Hatch tested 3 years ago with Infinite.
Holy shit, dude.
Paintballers, where they were at with their original, Virtua project a couple, months ago. There's so much growth happening in both of these projects. I do still kind of think, even after testing it more, I like Infinite's, movement a little better. But dude, Virtua was starting to become a really good game. You know, when you're updating stuff constantly, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, you just, more stuff starting to filter in. A kind of a point towards Infinite that I want to point out, and I think people, if you haven't played it in a while, go check out. They actually did just recently updo a lot of their UI settings, a lot of the customization options. There's now, I guess Battle Pass is the best word, but it's not, you don't have to buy it. It's just in the game. So as you play, you unlock more skins and jerseys and stuff that you can use. So there's a lot of, cool new features that are available in that. Also, another shout out to Infinite. They have been working on an AI system. So actually having AI, bots fight against you. So if there's not that many people online, you can still play games, or you can just test out layouts without having to deal with 3 other people in that server as well. So pretty cool stuff from them. On the paintballer side, they've added a lot of really cool things recently. They've added in kind of a mech mode, so it brings the kind of pace of the game a lot slower, just because there's less paint in the air. Both of the games have added like movement inaccuracies, so as you move more, you're less accurate with your marker, which also kind of helps make it so guys aren't just sprinting around the map the whole time, because that's what it was at the beginning. So yeah, a lot of great things. I'm excited to see where Paintballers ends up at, because some of their features and stuff just still aren't live yet, like their ranking system, things along that nature. But they have time. I mean, it's no one's really rushing them. I know people want console releases, which eventually is on their map, and they are going to do at some point. But like I said, things just aim to get PC. But things just take time. So I mean, have you played it at all, Tim? Have you checked out any of those?
I actually just played Paintballers last weekend. I have a lot of notes for them. So I used to be a huge Counter-Strike nerd. Like I've got like 3,000 hours or something.
That's a lot of my background too.
On CSGO and stuff. And so
what was your top rank? Were you global?
What's the one with the 2 AKs?
DMG? Yeah. Because Distinguished Master Guardian? Yeah.
I got to that, yeah. Right. And then it was affecting my relationship with my wife, so I quit.
That's fair. I was LE, so I was right around that, the Eagle. Nice. The Eagle one.
Nice. The Eagle one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was, I'm used to that like movement style, and I honestly think they have the smoothest, best like way of controlling yourself. And it could
Counter-Strike movement is just the best. It is.
And so, so I think I might have needed to change some settings. Like I don't know, but they have like a not a toggle system, but like a tap and hold. You know what I mean? Like if I want to crouch, I hit Shift or C or whatever, and I crouch, and then when I let go of crouch, I stand back up. And so that seems very like responsive. And so, like I said, maybe there's a feature for that I didn't know about in Paintballers, but I felt like I was like, I go to crouch and then I lay down because I'm holding it down, and I'm like, oh fuck, and then I'd like try to stand back up and it wouldn't stand up, and now I'm like laying in the open and I get shot.
That's so relatable, dude.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
I don't know about you guys. There's definitely that side when you die kind of because the game in these betas, because there's definitely times when you get stuck in a bunker or, something just happens. There's always that part of you that's like, yeah, you didn't
go full cedar mode.
Well, I don't go full cedar, but I was just like, you didn't actually kill me, bro. That one wasn't you. Like, I know, you don't know. You think you got to kill, but that's, I know at least.
Did you notice too like the switching guns, if you're switching hands, like if you're up against the bunker, it won't switch. Like you kind of have to back off of it.
Yep, because it'll go into the bunker.
Because I'd go up there and then want to look the other way, go to switch hands, can't. So
if you play it too tight, it'll like restrict you. Yeah. So
is that on purpose?
No, I don't think they want the barrels to go in. That is something that they've been like working on. It's been in their bugs, but
you could do when you turn in and into it a certain amount, the barrel just goes like this. So then it's like when you turn into the bunker, it like So if you're up against
like,
it, it'll just
Tarkov animation where it'll like just move it out of the way.
Gotcha,
Or even
like that.
They could just do it like CS where it just gets rid of it, because then it's just like, all right, obviously you want to be looking this way. The barrel's in a weird spot.
Or just not worry about it being so like hyper realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because there is always going to be some input differences and stuff. Like just because a guy can be up on a bunker doesn't mean Like, yeah, I don't know.
I like the idea, like if you're bumping into it, you're pushing your gun through it. Maybe the bunker's like kind of like swiveling or bumping, so you could tell someone's inside of it or you are playing it.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty rough. And then I don't know. I kind of just jumped into a match right away. I didn't really practice, so that's probably also why I was feeling very
Doesn't
clunky.
help.
But
Yeah.
like double tapping shift to get into sprinter stance, like it took me a while to figure out how to do that. And,
Which I think is actually better than their original system. So I got to give props for refining it.
That was cool that you could do that. But I just didn't know you could do that for so long. So that was rough. And then, the basically like going from prone to crouch to standing, it needs to feel more like Counter-Strike-ish, where like, so I can use it to snap, right?
Yeah,
a lot of
it
times
takes
I'd, like,
so long at times.
get into a bunker and then I just want to stand up really quick and shoot, but then it just feels so fucking slow. Or like I go to stand up and then it pushes me out of the bunker, or I go to crouch and it
One of the reasons I
crouch,
actually don't use the sprint off the break often is because I feel like, okay, I'll get to a far bunker, but then I'll be like shoved in it or something, and like I'll have to like reset my character, and then by the time I'm like ready to go, they're already right there in front of me. So it almost feels more better just to sit back and like shoot off the break at times. But so like
dance in the open and just,
it almost makes more sense to like, all right, once the the bunkers are a little more fixed, or once that system works better, then it will make the shift system work a little better, because then they're like, all right, it rewards you for getting that far up the field. Whereas like now it's still a little like, all right, you got there, but what can you really do for like 10 seconds as you're trying to like get your body around, and then you finally go out to snap someone and maybe you trade, it's like, oh, cool, I got one guy.
Right, yeah, like the sliding in and getting your gun up into a crouched position felt very bad,
And I'm glad you're saying this, because I've actually taken heat from people saying that parts of the game do just objectively feel bad. But I think, but that's not, that's a good thing. That it's okay for us to say that, because how else is it going to get better if people don't, tell them, hey,
the game's going to be updated.
This just
if it
doesn't feel
updated,
great.
That's when it's
so maybe let's, adjust the animation speed. Let's make it seem a little faster. Does that feel better? You kind of can work with them, give them more feedback.
Feedback's always good, especially when you're in the video game world, where if you're not constantly coming out with updates, people are like, I'm out of here. Yeah,
I'm gone. Done with this.
If you're not updating a game, people's attention spans are not going to be there.
Yep.
So it's good that they're updating.
Did you guys find that the aiming was kind of weird as well? Like, I think do you need to like do the zoom in thing for it to be better?
So no,
there was like the zoom in feature.
So, and that's what I was talking about. They recently added in the movement inaccuracies. So if you're running and gunning, it's a lot more inaccurate than it used to be. So think of it like CS. Anytime you're moving, your just aim's not going to be on. Like, yeah, you may get a lucky shot, but it's not going to be most of the time.
Is that bad?
Yeah, they definitely, and I think that was to slow the game down. I think they went maybe a little too far with it, because like, dude, there's a couple times the other day I should have definitely killed this kid
everywhere.
And I was just like, oh wait, I have to counter strafe and like stay still, but then you get shot from other places. So
the counter strafing's not what you want. I think they need to find like a common ground where like you can't strafe quickly. They almost need it like when you're moving fast, your gun kind of lowers a little bit. And then there's like a between speed where you hold your gun up while you're moving. And you're moving slower, but you can shoot accurately.
Or, or give me like a shift key kind of, or it's like, all right, I moved my slow butt down. I'm not moving as fast as I could be, but I can still shoot my marker, in the right spot.
So yeah, hold shift and you can move and shoot, and it's more accurate, but you're just a little bit slower or something.
Yeah, things along those lines. But I'm glad you played it. You're actually one of our few guests who have spent a little bit of time with it, so that's great to hear. And like I said, shout out to both teams, because I do definitely feel like the competition is kind of helping them bring better things out. Infinite is in a way better place than it was when we first saw it.
Here's the move. You take digital paintball, all the mechanics from digital paintball, and then you just kind of add stuff to it. So all the movement and all that is like the same.
Tim, you're describing Infinite right now, because Infinite is more of that like source type movement feel, whereas Paintballers is a little more like Call of Duty-ish at times. It feels like a little more like kind of heavy weighty. So that's maybe why you saying that actually like makes that click in my head. That's maybe why I just like the movement of Infinite better, because I've spent much more time, in source type games where it feels more like that. And Infinite's not made in source, but it definitely emulates that more than I would say Paintballers does.
Right. Yeah, pretty cool though. I like it. I mean, it's definitely the like paintballers thing itself, like being able to play layouts and have it look like accurate would be pretty cool training tool.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think kind of my bias with the games too. I enjoy playing them just because I'm better than 95% of the people who are playing them, and that's only because I've just played them a lot. I've made videos. I've had to spend time with the systems. And I guarantee you, once they come out and they're not as buggy, I'll just start to get shit on a lot more. But it definitely is like, it's nice to have a game where you can just go in and be like, all right, I don't even have to try. Like, you can just kind of do whatever you want, and it's like I haven't felt that way.
Is the thing though, like trying to, and that's probably also why I was feeling like a little clunky. Is like what I know I'm capable of playing paintball versus like what I'm capable of using my fingers.
Yeah, using a mouse and keyboard. Yeah,
the cedar
I would
method,
say
dude.
my hardest lobby I've played in paintballers was with Ronnie, Colt, and Callie. Callie, can't think of his name right now, but. Callie Rudolph. And that match was so hard because like I would think, okay, cool, like he's no longer fighting me, I could take this move. No, he's waiting on me to take that move because he's expecting me to do that. Like it showed that like, oh, okay, like we're still using a mouse and keyboard, but there's still a knowledge gap here of like how they know how to play this game and how I know.
Okay, that's another good point about it. Is it felt like sluggish, like the snapping felt fast and good, but like I was playing a one-on-one with someone and he goes running and I want to like sidestep to my left and snap really fast, which would be a pretty quick motion for me normally, but like it just felt so slow to the point where like I'm missing him running now.
Well, and if your marker was in your other hand, you have to like switch it first, which takes a second, and then you can go to lean, and it just those little things that add extra time that I don't know if they're fully needed, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe they do something where like the switching hands just happens automatically, and then that gives you a delay if you go from one snapping side to the other, right?
I will say they now have put it onto one key. So in the first version, you used to have to like old Greg Hastings. Right? No, in old Greg Hastings, it would be like your gun's in your hand, and then you have a keybind to switch hands, and then you have a lean key. So you wouldn't choose to lean left or right. You would just choose to lean, and then depending on which hand your gun is in would be which way you lean. It just makes it a lot more like you have to think more. And I will say on a controller, that actually probably feels a little better to have those two things switched. But when you're on a mouse and keyboard and you have thumb buttons, like that feels so much worse to have to like press a button, switch hands, press another button, lean out, start shooting, you run out of paint, reload, and it's like, or I could just do that and just press one button and be leaned out already. So they definitely, like I said, they've made improvements. They've listened to things that I've given them feedback on that other people in their Discord and other communities have. But it's a game in progress. It's still got ways to go.
Yeah. I know it's always funny. Like, you want to give feedback about it, but then you also want to like be positive about it because it is a beta game. It's like. This is for us figuring these things out, not like going in like, oh fuck, this game is terrible,
Yeah, well, and weekly updates. I know Infinite has been doing like almost every month they've had something new kind of coming out and updating. So yeah, I mean both projects are still in the works, so it'll be cool to see when they're kind of in their air quotes final game type release state.
I really like the idea that Brett had where for skins in the game he's going to work with the companies where like let's say you go buy a Geo 3 or whatever, or Geo 5 or whatever the fuck the new one is, you could get the serial number from that and like the receipt or something, and then have that skin.
That's sick.
In
okay, that is pretty sick. Well, I know because I don't know how much this is known, but this conversation he had with me and a couple other guys, he wanted to do something similar to kind of that CS skin market atmosphere. Not as crazy, but where skins are more like, if you get a mask, you have that mask. If you want to trade it to someone else, then they can use it. But like, it's more an individual thing instead of just like, you have it. And I guess that's different philosophy from what Infinite did. Infinite went, all right, you bought the game, everything's in the game, you can unlock it. Whereas, Paintballers is like, all right, it's free, But if you want to look like Marcelo Margot, cool, you can pay us $5 and just, have his skin. It's kind of, it'll be interesting to see, which of those two philosophies, works well in kind of the 2024 mindset.
Yeah, pretty cool idea. I think that'd be sweet. Buy a headband and you get the skin.
Oh, that would be sick.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like you said, buy a mask and you got the mask in the game. And then if you make it so, like, CS is like, it's only your skins, but someone could pick your gun up and it would be that skin.
Oh.
But in paintballers, it'd be cool to be able to trade those things, right? So, yeah, you get the digital version of it because you bought the real version of it, but then you could still trade the digital version of it. And that would make its whole own
little ecosystem. Yeah, no, for sure. And even if it's not as crazy as like Counter-Strike, I mean, that's still just, it adds another layer to the game, which is cool. It's always cool to have more features instead of less. Counter-Strike goes even crazier with like patterns being worth more than others and certain float values, and it can get crazy. And that's honestly that's why Counter-Strike still exists. If you're wondering, it's because their skin market makes them like $1 billion a year just doing nothing, like just collecting fees and having people buy cases and stuff. And so I guess every year they add a new case. That's like the work they do on like that market.
And like how much money like the Steam marketplace gets for like helping you sell your skins.
Yeah, the 12% fee every time you sell a skin. They're making
so much money off that 12%.
Yeah, and so that's why Counter-Strike for 10 years now has existed, and they keep paying the server fees, they keep paying devs to update it and making it a good game because it's worth it. They're making a lot of money.
And it's a fun game. That game I think is so much fun because it just has such a paintball vibe to it with the communicating.
The 5v5
teamwork.
I was telling Nick Laval about that, dude. Guy still hasn't wanted to play. Remember, Ryan? I was telling Nick Laval,
Counter-Strike is maybe the perfect esport in my opinion, just because of how much it relies on individual capability but also team play. Like if you're so good you can win a game, but if a team knows how to use utility and shut you down, you'll never have a chance to make a play.
You have to have like a B and then like a C plan, right? Just in case where it's like the smokes come out, the flashes come out, right? Then you got to go to plan C and set up.
Speaking of next week, I know I always talk about esports. There is a huge Counter-Strike 2 tournament. It's the Esports World Cup that's happening. So if anyone's interested, that'll be going on next week.
That was the hard part to progress past that rank, was that like there's a whole new meta of like saving and like
economy. Yeah.
Like you pool resources to your better player, and like that dynamic was hard to break into because there's so many like fucking flamers on the internet that
the toxic community.
They're so toxic. So it's super hard to get a good cohesive team together, to the point where I was like adding people on Steam over and over, like, oh shit, this guy's good, let me add him. But then they're like a terrible teammate. So it's like, we're never going to get above this rank if I can't find good teammates. And so that was getting frustrated. And then I was spending way more time doing it. But I missed the like triple deke. Everyone throws like all their nades and everything towards one site.
Yeah.
Like to try and make them think we're not going to that site, but then you
selling flakes or you're selling fakes.
You wait for their flanker guy and you kill him and then charge in, and so you hope that they rotated, and then you do so much fun.
Knowing like a cross map smoke that'll make it look like you're going to the other side. Like Counter-Strike. And the reason why I say it's one of the best esports is because you can go from the basic level of take a gun and shoot at another person with a gun all the way to all 5 of us are holding a nade. We're going to release it at the same time, which is going to block off certain angles so we know not to check them, so we can take up the site. And we know that they're not going to be there because we've scouted them, because, just like paintball, we know their tendencies. We know what players like to do. Like Pro Counter-Strike is one of my favorite like things to watch, because when you watch some of the best play it, it's beautiful. And it's also because you'll never be that good. Like
some of those guys' reaction time and like gun control is just like in fucking insane. Like somebody gets a hold of an op and it's over. You know what I mean?
Well, they were like, oh, throw that shit off the map just so that one guy doesn't get the op.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, a team's playing Monson. Yeah, if we kill a guy with an op, we're not just gonna leave it laying on the ground. We're gonna make sure we throw it off the map just in case one of their guys tries to come back for it, because that's a valuable gun. Like
people will lose one round just to make sure a guy doesn't get an op.
Yeah, or like it's just examples of breaking down the game to a point where like, we're gonna lose this round, but we have to win 13 to win the game. so that's
Is
fine.
that the future of paintball? Real life version of Counter-Strike, where you like
I've been trying to say it a lot. I keep bringing
Race
it
to
up.
13.
buy pods.
Yeah, we
So
start with pistols. We start with tip X's, and then you gotta buy a marker. You can buy a 98, an EMAC. You know, go up through the list.
That'd be wild. Well, you could use like all the mag-fed crap, you know, like
I will say, Brett, make this a game mode. Give me a Counter-Strike game mode. Let me buy different levels of guns and stuff. There you go. That's a good one.
Dude,
That would be
that's
cool.
sick.
Right?
Remember when we did gun game?
Gun game.
Gun game
What?
video when we did the fucking.
Oh yeah, we did
Slingshot
this
video
in
and
real
all that.
life, I guess. Yeah,
Yep.
technically.
Yep. Shit felt good. Oh, dude, Brando's frozen. I thought he
Okay.
was just zoned in, bro.
Yeah, I thought he was out for a while.
Dude, I was texting him like, "Yo, you good?"
Are you? Oh
He
shit.
is frozen for me.
Yeah, you're hard frozen.
Oh yeah,
but
I thought he was just.
I thought he was honed in.
into it. Yeah.
my man's been working all day. He's tired. Well, yeah. So, all right, cool. Good to know. And actually, that's cool to know that you're a gamer, Tim. I know you're more on the nerd side, I would say, of stuff.
You play
but,
Elden Ring?
No. So I basically went cold turkey. So I quit Counter-Strike because it was affecting my relationship because I'm like was spending all my time doing it. And you're like locked in. You know, you're like, don't talk to me for 40 minutes. Thank you. You know what I mean? So now I kind of stick to games that are very like I can put them down and it doesn't matter. So single player games or online games that like there's no like I can I can't play team games because it's like I got to be able to leave. You know, my son is like, Dad, I blah blah blah, or if my wife comes in, or and I only have so much finite time too. So like a lot of my gaming is like from 10 to midnight. You know, like all right, my kid's asleep, my wife is watching TV on her phone. All right, I'm gonna sneak away and get some gaming in.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So what have you been playing recently?
So my buddy and I have been playing Project Zomboid. I don't know if you see that.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
actually heard of that
yeah.
game. I've seen some clips
It's
of that
pretty
game.
cool. I've been playing that. I recently have been fucking around with RuneScape.
Okay.
Just because that
Like old
game's
school?
got-
Like,
yeah, I was saying old school RuneScape?
not the old one. The new
okay.
one. The old school one is like way too like no
Outdated.
for me.
I
It just requires too much time. This one's like I'm fucking around. I have it on my second screen. If I'm like, I call it the vicinity hangout. I don't know if you guys have long-term relationships, but eventually you like want to do your own thing, but like in the same room with each other. So like I'll have the RuneScape going when I'm like watching TV and then sitting next to the wife and the kid's asleep. It's like, all right, I don't need to pay attention to this TV as much. I'll RuneScape it.
it's like half mental
And
energy.
then let's see what else I got here. Just beat Baldur's Gate 1.
Nice. I kind of
started Baldur's Gate 2.
I had a feeling you were gonna be a Baldur's Gate fan because I know that is kind of right up your alley.
Yeah, so eventually I want to get to the third one and like play with some homies. And then I used to play the fuck out of League of Legends,
Let's go.
but so I quit Counter-Strike.
No waste of
I
time.
moved here. I moved here, and then me and Josh lived together, and me and him were like getting deep into League, and to the point where I was like, okay, Josh, we have to try and go professional at this game. Like, if we're gonna spend this much
Did you
time,
make challengers?
no. Like, it got to that point that we were playing it so much that I'm like, either we gotta quit, or we gotta be competitive with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
to
like
that
we're
point where,
wasting
like,
time now. It's like we either gotta make this worth it or jump out.
or stop. So basically, like, went cold turkey on all video games after that. Like, put my computer away. I actually got it back out because I just built this office for my wife. So I actually have my own desk now. So I was like, okay, I'll get my computer back out. It doesn't work. So probably good that it doesn't. I have a laptop that I game on. But I'm mostly doing like Adobe, like artwork stuff, and I play D&D with some groups. So that's kind of like my game. My main game is D&D with two different groups right now.
I'm jealous. That's always something I've wanted to do, but the amount of coordination and time it takes with other people is something I've never had in my life. So at some point, I probably will, but just not yet.
Yeah, so I'm the DM for both groups. So I actually write my own campaign and run the whole thing. It's tough because you need people with a legitimate schedule. So like, the fly by their pants kind of people are usually the worst kind of group members because they will cancel all the time. So you need that like person who's got like a set in stone like job usually, because then they're easier to like coordinate with.
I mean,
and
kind of just like paintball a little bit,
Yeah,
A
so
guy with some set schedule in his life can be a little more reliable.
I do 3-hour sessions Monday and Tuesday, and that's like my, hey wife, this is my gaming time. So all the other gaming I get done is like really fucking sporadic and
Yeah, just on the side when you have time.
on the side when I have time, which is very little at this point. So
Nice.
but that's why RuneScape is tight, because it's like literally don't have to pay attention to it.
Just let it go, do stuff by itself. It's an idle game essentially.
I get that like numbers go up feeling, like from an RPG.
More damage, yeah.
I love numbers go up.
I was playing Guild Wars 2 for a bit with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Because he's like super nerd into that game. That was pretty fun. But
yeah, nice.
those games take a lot of time. So
they do. That's like MMOs. That's kind of the thing they do is suck time from you.
Suck time. So that was like, oh man, me and him played. I think I put 300 hours into it, and I was like, all right.
I will say you're good at recognizing when like you gotta pull the cord, because sometimes like it's fun to do something, but then you're like, is this becoming an addiction? Like, is this actually good at this point? Am I actually enjoying what I'm doing anymore, or is this just something I do?
Yeah. So yeah, we beat the game and got to the end stuff and end content with my brother-in-law, and then like now there's like updates every now and again. He'll be like, yo, there's an update, let's do this a little bit. So sometimes I'll jump on with him, but he's got a kid now too, so it's kind of like we're both on that like, if I have some free time, I'm taking it, but it's never going to be the same time of day, and it's always going to be like for an hour or two.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, you guys now have, future grinders, so, just give it like 5-7 years, put them on a mouse and keyboard, and there you go. All right, go get me gold, son. Just, this is what you're going to do all day.
My buddy was like, oh man, you're going to get to like experience video games again, because like now it's kind of like when you get older, it's like very frowned upon by, society, you could say. Like, the wife doesn't want me to just sit around and game, and I try to get her to game with me, but you can't force people to like stuff. So
you could try, it just never works out.
An excuse, right? Like I'll have an excuse to like actually like, hey, for the next 4 hours, me and the kid are gonna fucking play this video game,
Yeah, it'd be like father-son bonding. We're working on something together.
Saturdays are going to be sweet. Saturday mornings are going to be sweet.
Hell yeah.
Kid's going to have like the best D&D campaign before he's like 12 years old.
Or like, I'll actually get like a console, and me and him are going to be a couch gaming or something.
That'd be cool.
Oh, love that stuff, dude. So it takes two action.
Fun fact. So the wife and we play couch gaming. I have a Switch. And so, we do the Mario games. And before we had a kid, it was like kind of the thing we used to do together, was just playing like any couch co-op game I could find.
Yeah, fun little hangout.
On like the Nintendo website or whatever you want to call the Switch.
e-store or something?
E-store or whatever, yeah. And so Diablo 3 is on the Switch now.
Let's go.
So while my wife was pregnant with my son, we would play Diablo 3. So we beat the game together. That was cool.
Nice.
And so I was like, okay, you want the real experience? We have to play hardcore.
Oh God.
We can't die. So we legitimately get to the end of the game, because we beat it before, so she kind of knew the ropes, and honestly, the game is so fucking easy. Like
D3 is pretty.
Before you get to like end game stuff, it feels very like you have to try to.
If you know what you're doing, it becomes very easy. Like if you don't know builds and all that stuff.
You can set the difficulty higher, but I had it at like the normal setting, which is like, dear God, it's so easy. But we got all the way to the last boss and both died. So she got to experience the
loss,
heartbreak. Because I used to play Diablo 2 and what's the developers of Diablo 2 went off and made the free game.
Torchlight, right? Something like that.
Grinding Gears.
Grinding Gears. Right? Okay. I don't know if I've heard that one.
Grinding Gears.
Path of Exile.
PoE.
yeah,
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I used to play that and Diablo 2 a lot, and you know you have a hardcore character in that shit. It's like
You're
oh,
attached.
God. When they die and you lose all this loot and shit, it's like oh, those are quit moments. Where you're like,
essentially
so
you
depressed,
just
you're like,
lost
all right.
I'm never playing
50
again.
to 100 hours of
Exactly.
progress, and it's just like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna turn off my computer.
I also got to the end of the first Dark Souls. I got to the end of it, and it beat me down. I quit. I couldn't finish the last boss. It was like, yeah.
I don't blame you.
I was like, all right, close enough.
Basically.
I could say I played Souls. There we go. That's nice.
Yeah, man, that game's brutal. Like,
Those old ones are so fucking hard, dude. Oh
So
my
brutal.
god.
and there's so many moments where like, so I try not to use the internet, right, or wiki or any of that shit, just to challenge myself. And there are
Me
so many
too.
moments where you go, all right, I have died like 100 times trying to figure this out. I'm over it. It's time to look up. And then you look it up and you're like, just run by it. What the fuck? You know, like oh my god, the
You're like,
amount
I
of
didn't need
times
to do
where
this the
it's
whole
just like,
time. Are you fucking kidding me?
it's just like yeah, there's like the depths or like the darkness or like there's these giants and shit, and it's like you just run past everything until you get to the boss. And then it became just like memorizing how to run past everything.
Yep.
Oh my god, I've been
Yeah, that is the Dark Souls experience. You don't fight every enemy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not.
I like to fight everybody my first time going through, but then once I'm like already kind of like gone through it before, then I'm like, all right, time to run past these fuckers.
Well, there's like grinding for souls, right? But then there's like those spots in that game where you're like, no. You don't grind this part. You don't play. You just run.
You just.
Yeah.
This is pointless. Yeah.
It's not worth it. The enemies are too hard to kill for they're not
will
worth their
die.
souls.
Yeah,
Exactly. Speaking of, you're talking about Diablo 3 there, which was actually funny because in this last week, I jumped back into Diablo 4 with some of the paintball media guys. So I know like
nice.
Rag Guy plays it, Verbal plays it, a couple other guys that he knows play it. So yeah, they got me back in. I played it with them when it first came out,
Lizard.
and there's been a whole bunch of updates and stuff. I've had fun. It's been cool, but I've like been fully power leveled and everything. Like they were already pretty far ahead, so I mean the grind definitely went down, but like I still had to find gear and good stuff. So yeah, there was still some of the challenge. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing it. Like I'm not going to max out multiple characters or anything, but it's been one of those things. Like it's been fun while I'm in it.
Doesn't matter what game you're playing when you just got some homies with you. Like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like
a streamer once said,
or like
there's a streamer I watch. He once said, he's like, yeah, this game's fun with your friends. Well, yeah, throwing rocks at a tree outside is fun with your friends. It's because you're with your fucking friends. And that quote has stuck with me since. That like so much of gaming is like, is this game really fun, or is it because you're with Hatch and Brandon?
Just
like
hanging with the
that's
just
fun.
hanging with the homies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can dig those. Like what was this stupid game we were playing? It's like this couch co-op game where you cook. What the is it called?
Overcooked.
Overcooked. Yeah.
Dude, me and my girlfriend just started playing the second one. Dude, I'm getting carried. Carried.
Just it's like you start yelling at each other. That's when you know.
Yeah.
I literally said that earlier. That's so funny, bro. Wow. Yeah. No, the Overcooked experience is just anger at a certain point.
I used to be a cook, so that it brings back old stresses. Like,
yes,
oh
chef.
my god, I don't know if this is a game I really want to play right now. But
yeah,
you got 12 tickets at the window. You're freaking out.
I'm lucky. The stereotypical gender roles are carrying me in my Overcooked experience. So she'd be good in the kitchen. Who would have known? All
right, what's the Smash Bro mains? The newest Smash Bros. Do you guys play that?
I don't play. I haven't played Ultimate.
Played a Smash Bros.
If we're talking melee, I'll play some Captain Falco. I'll fuck with some Falco.
Oh, you would be a Kirby guy.
Yeah, flying around in the air.
I fuck with Kirby, dude.
Melee, I think I'm again.
Hey, Minecraft Steve.
The newer one. What was I playing a lot in the newer one? Oh, the guy from Final Fantasy VII. I don't know his name.
Cloud or
Cloud. Yeah, Cloud is pretty good in the newer one.
Yeah. No, Ultimate. Ultimate's completely
anybody
different.
with a sword, really.
I like Minecraft Steve. Minecraft Steve. Some of those fucking videos where I've seen people play Minecraft Steve, bro, that shit is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching some because Smash is another esport that I think is kind of crazy, but Melee is what's played a lot, which is like the old GameCube version, so that's still the like most popular one. People do play the newer titles on Wii and Switch, but it's definitely stuck to that one. When you watch people play the new one versus what was made 15 years ago, it's so crazy because it's just seeing what people have done to this game that's so old. They know all the exploits, they know how to move very well in it, wave dashing, all that shit. And then you come to Ultimate and it's like Steve's there with a crafting table, like making a diamond sword, and it's like, wait, what the fuck happened between these two titles? Like, what's going on here, Nintendo?
Dude, some people get way too shit. Like, I love playing those types of people where like they can just take on all the shitty people, like 4-on-1 or
at the same time.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
my God.
it's just ridiculous.
It becomes a game of like, all right, let's try and beat this guy. One of my buddies was like that, where I just could never ever beat him. But I enjoy that challenge. That's always fun.
Brando, you still here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so you're frozen, which sucks. But before we get out of the show, I did want to go to you real quick because you weren't here last week, and so I wanted to fill our audience in on why you were gone. So where the fuck were you, Brandon?
Yeah, what the hell?
Just a little place called Paradise. All right. Went on our honeymoon, a cruise to the Bahamas. All right.
Okay.
We went right into that storm, that hurricane. No, we were too far north for that hurricane.
You should have sold it anyways. I would have believed you.
Yeah. No, we had this plan for, I don't know, like almost a whole year. Yeah, our honeymoon. It was beautiful. First time on our cruise for both of us.
What cruise line?
Celebrity cruises. I think they combine.
Celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh.
They just hey. They just combined with Royal Caribbean, I think.
Royal.
Yeah. Hey.
Big words.
Hey, settle down.
It's
settle down.
bone surgeon money starting to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut up.
Cruises are funny, man. They're like they're cool. I did a Bahamas cruise one time, and like getting to the Bahamas was really cool. But it's a really funny like shared experience with different people. Did you have like, shows and like dinners? Like you go to the dinner and then it's like a magician, and you're like, oh
yeah.
The dinner.
Dude, yeah. They had a magician show. They had a comedy show. We went to the captain.
Nice.
The captain had his own like concert. Essentially, he's from another country. Most of the workers on cruise lines are from other countries, and on their name tag they have where
African and Asian. It's a lot. Yeah, usually from those places.
Yeah. Where they come from. But the captain's from, I think, maybe Turkish or somewhere over there. And he's there playing with the band, playing lead singer, playing guitar, and singing 80s rock songs, and it was awesome. It was cool.
That's all.
Dude, it's like, yeah, it's so, God, I came back 5 pounds heavier, ate so goddamn much.
Probably drank a bit too.
Like I feel like there's like certain vacations that are like very moment of your life and time and age specific. Like, because when I did the cruise, I was like 18, so it just felt like, oh, it's summertime. I want to be home with my friends. Very like not. But then you like, if it's just you and your partner, and you can drink, and you know what I mean. You're just there to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it can be dope. It's kind of like a 5-star hotel that is also the plane that you're taking to like.
Yeah,
a new place.
Yeah.
It was
like
awesome.
every other day.
Instead of just flying to the location, you're like, instead of that, we're gonna just chill and get things for a day, and then we'll show up at the location.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know why we didn't take cruises earlier for vacations. This is awesome.
Hash, we're never gonna see this man again.
I mean, fuck, that makes me want to go on a cruise, dude.
Brandon, are you going to become the guy who goes on like the Disney cruise line every year for the rest of your life?
No,
Is that gonna be you?
not Disney cruises. That's too many kids.
Too many kids.
I
thought you liked kids.
Bahamas cruise would be dope. Yeah.
Okay, we can't see you. You can't be doing that.
You want to go somewhere where you want to be, you know, like you don't want to just do like a cruise. Like I would stay away from the cruise where you don't stop anywhere, you're just on the boat. I don't know if those
Well,
exist or not, but that would be a nightmare, I think.
that's almost like the Alaska cruises. You know, it's
I've done one of
the
those.
destination's all right, but the route to the destination's beautiful, supposed to be. But
I did do the Disney cruise to Alaska when I was a kid. My grandparents took me and my brother. It was a while ago. I think I was like 9 or 10, so it was pretty young. But you are right, Brandon. There's like 2 days because you start in Vancouver and then you have to get up to Alaska. So it's like 2 days of just getting there, and then there's like 3 or 4 towns that you can stop in. And there was some cool things. Like we walked on a glacier. That shit was fucking awesome. Like it was cool to be up there and like see that. But you know, like couple of the towns are just small little like tourist towns, and like there's not much there, so still a cool experience. But yeah, I think like a cruise is better fit for like a you know, a tropical place, or maybe even Europe, because I feel like there's just more locations and more places you can kind of go
I
to.
think you just got to be the right age and the right moment of your life, you know what I mean? Like
see,
I think when you're young and dumb, like you could go anywhere and you just want to be like out and about. You don't want to be like you don't want to just be like chilling, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
No, the cruise was fun. I had fun. I enjoyed it. But I do remember what Brandon was saying, like where it's like, there's not many places to go in Alaska. Like, you know, there's not many like full day excursions or something, because it's like, all right, you go see the ice, or, you know, if you go in the summer, you go see like certain parts, and then cool. All right.
I just think you're like from like age 18 to like 25, you're just like such more of a like a turd. You just don't like.
I mean, you're not
you
wrong.
just don't like you don't care so much, you know. You're like, yeah, whatever, fucking view over there, you know what I mean? Like, how am I getting drunk, or how am I like meeting a girl? Like that's like what you're caring about, you know what I mean?
Now you're seeing the beauty of life, seeing the beauty outside the sides of the cruise, you know, the nature.
Yeah, it was fun. It was we set sail on Monday last week, and then we landed back in port in Fort Lauderdale in Florida on Friday morning.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So like a week, or
it was almost, yeah, it's like four nights. Four nights, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we first full day, like Tuesday, they have this private island out there in the Bahamas, and
I was gonna say, I think I saw your story about that. It's like Royal Caribbean's island thing.
Yeah. We pulled up. We were the first boat there. And then like we were the second boat.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude, no, I lied. We were the second boat. There was already one there, and I'm gonna try to send this picture. Like their cruise made our cruise look like a bitch. God damn.
Were you on a small boat?
Oh my! I was on an average sized boat. Average.
Okay, so you're on a Brandon sized boat. All right, good to know.
It was a Brandon sized boat. Now and then they have like water slides and everything, and that shit was fucking fun. We thought we were gonna spend a couple hours on the water slides and go to a beach, but nah, we spent like 9 hours on those water slides.
You're such a kid, bro. You're like, yeah, man.
Oh fuck!
You see the water slides? Let's go.
Woo! Nah, and
That's
then
awesome,
the next day
Did
it was
they
like
have the fake surfing?
No. They had a wake pool, but no fake surfing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then we went to like another island, Bimini, in the Bahamas, and that was cool. We chilled on the beach there. Yeah, there was nothing much to see other than the resort that we paid to be at. That was it. Beautiful water. And then the last day we just like out at sea, eating all day.
Hell yeah.
Just getting fat.
Some crazy deals that you don't have to cook, man. Something about it.
So good.
Yeah.
It's like that turkey sandwich is hard when someone else makes it for you.
Yeah, Brandon, that's definitely you
yes,
versus the guy Michelle tells you not to worry about.
Yeah, I know, right? What the fuck? Like,
that's funny.
the hell?
I like it. It's average.
It's average. It works for her. It worked for her.
Hell yeah. Ocean of the ocean, bro. It doesn't matter how big.
She says the big ones hurt, so, you know.
Dude.
They all say.
I looked up like the biggest cruises in the world. That one was the 4th biggest cruise in the world. Ours wasn't even in the top 70. I was like, damn, all right. Fuck us then.
So yeah, size matters, and you got fucked. Well, yeah, sick. All right, well, cool. So yeah, I wanted to get people kind of let them know where you were at. You were alive this time, so we didn't get nearly as much negative feedback. So that's good.
Oh, boo. Whatever. Kill me off more.
We probably will or won't. I don't know.
Wish. I mean, what?
Riding a fine line there.
Jeez.
But yeah, so Brandon was gone, but he'll be back now, hopefully, for a little bit. I mean, if you actually gonna be on shows now, what's going on with that, Brandon?
He's actually here
Hey,
now,
look.
Ryan. That's all that counts.
Yeah. Look, I'm staying very still right now for you guys.
I
But
can't tell who he's talking.
look,
Did someone ask you
I don't
English
have
or
any
Spanish?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Look, I'm in ventriloquist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, motherfucker, this is what I've been doing. I'm no travel plans until Chicago. So
Nice.
All right.
I'm here.
Well, yeah. Other
Nice.
things that
Ugh.
happened this week, kind of getting towards the end of the show. Fish Tank wrapped up their little mini season they did. There were some awesome parts from that. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more next week. I know we were with Tim this week, so yeah, we just went into pretty depth into with our guest. But yeah, Fish Tank Live. The cool thing I have to mention with Fish Tank, so they ended the season. They've left one of the cameras on. So that house that they're in for doing all this like middle small 2.5 season stuff is the same house they're going to be using, I guess, in the future. So they just have a camera that's on. So if you go to Fish Tank Live, you can still see one of their rooms is on. It was cool. Like the other night, they were all obviously like drinking and having like an after party. So like a bunch of them just went in there and like were hanging out and stuff, chatting. So there was, you know, that was kind of cool because it was like, all right, continuing the Fish Tank atmosphere a little bit. But yeah, show's over for now.
There's just a
So it'll be
camera
back in
the fish
August.
tank and
So-
just people fucking.
So Fish Tank, Tim, is a website, fishtank.live, and it is a reality television show that is streamed 24/7 from multiple different cameras. So they've done 2 seasons where essentially they wire up a house, and you can go to this website and you can watch along, and you can pick, you know, if you want to go from different cameras, different angles. They have a director that'll kind of just like go to the best moments that are happening currently. It's run by Sam Hyde, which I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a very kind of he's done comedy for years, but it's very unique comedy. It's in its own kind of vein and way. It's very out there. It's very edgy, but it is pretty funny. So yeah, I've talked about it on the show, so I won't go into it much more deeper for our audience sake. But yeah, no, very good show over there. Produces a lot of kind of cool and interesting content, just because it's a unique concept where, you know, you can at any point in time something could happen. It could be 4 o'clock in the middle of the night and a fight starting. All right, cool. Like, and if you weren't there, you just missed it. There's no like recording of it. So you know, like people make clips and stuff on
Jeez.
Twitter, but you know, it's kind of damn, I had to go to work today. We'll check back in when I get home, see what happened.
Wild.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
There's so much weird content out there. My God.
Content for whatever you think of.
I've been DMing. There's a couple guys who work behind the scenes of the show who I've been talking with. So hopefully I do want to bring one of them on to kind of talk about it more, which I think would be awesome. So yeah, hopefully that'll happen in kind of the near future. But it's something I've talked about because it's just fascinating. Like, it's just one of those human reality things where you're like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on?
I can dig the like real reality stuff, not the like fake reality stuff.
Fucking Beverly Housewives and shit.
Oh my God.
That's just lame, bro. Fish Tank for life.
Yeah. Well, and because that's the thing, you don't need to give people reasons to get mad and fight and have drama. Like, it'll just happen. And it's I don't know. It's very interesting to watch people just be in a place together. They do also have one of the features of the show is they have a TTS and sound effects. So all of the rooms have a speaker in them. So if you're in chat, you can spend, you know, like $5-10 and send a message to, you know, the contestants in it, or, you know, someone on the show, which is funny too, because a lot of the times chat starts to then gaslight the people on the show, which causes more drama and things because they think they know something, but they're actually just telling them a lie. It's very interesting, the situations that can arise, and one happened towards the end of the season,
And are
which
you, like,
I'll go into on depth.
viewing the house from inside of a fish tank, so there's like fish swimming around? And,
No. Fish tank's just the name, just because it's kind of the idea is it's like fish are in a
You're
tank.
standing there. Gotcha.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
okay.
you're just think like a CCTV camera. So it's just like in the corner of the room, and so like
Okay.
you can see the whole
Gotcha.
room, but it's like it's just one angle. And yeah, it's just one of those things that's like I don't even like that I like it, but it's fascinating. It's just, you know, it's caught my attention.
Just-
Because it
so,
is.
The reason why shit TV is popular, I had to talk to my wife about this because I'm like, why the fuck do you like this shit? And so she explained it that women like it because it's a way for them to like numb their brain so they don't have to think about stuff. And I'm like, what? You have to have a TV show for that? And she's like, all right. She's like, when you think about something, imagine your brain as like a big desk with a bunch of drawers, right? And so then I open up I want to think about paintball drawer, right? And I flip through files, and then I put the file away, and then I close it, and then I open up another file that's something else I want to think about, and then I close it. She's like, a woman's brain, every single file is open at one time, and they're just like fucking,
SpongeBob running around with everything on fire.
I couldn't even fathom it. She's like, that's what it's like to be a woman. I'm like, so she's like, these shows let us close all the drawers of our mind. I'm like, okay,
interesting.
I just watch it because it's funny to watch autistic kids freak out at each other. I'm gonna be honest, but it's. Yeah, whatever does it for you out there. Need to relax and get through the day.
I guess.
So yeah, let's go ahead. We've gone quite long on tonight's show, which awesome. I know Brandon is never going to complain about that.
Nope. We're pushing 3 hours.
I know you want 4.
Actually,
we won't go there.
4,
we won't get
4 hours. 104.
104. No, we already did 3 with 100. That's the most you're gonna get. But yeah, so we are gonna go ahead and bring our show to a close tonight. But before we do that, we have a couple different things we do around here. Before we jump into those, I want to let Tim kind of give kind of a final thoughts for the episode. Was there maybe something you weren't able to mention or get off your chest? And where can people find you if they want to keep up to date with Tim, maybe learn more about the master classes and such?
So you can reach out to me at tbrus.27 on Instagram if you're interested in the class. It'll be at Capital Edge in Sacramento, and I want to say it's Extreme Paintball in Modesto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Like I said, the classes are catered to you. There's no pressure as far as like how many classes you think you need. I'm going to try and tailor it to the goals that you have, and try and graduate you from the class. That is the main goal for me with the class. So check it out. And if you're ever at either of those fields and you see me, I'm friendly. Come ask questions. Come talk to me.
Pretty nice guy, I would say, at this point in time.
Hell
Maybe 10 years ago he was a little bit more aggressive, but he's calmed down. The kids, the age.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Very
Thank you,
wise
Tim.
now.
Before we close out our show, we gotta have our 2 segments we do every single week. We have a cool guy of the week. Brandon, who is that for this week?
Yep. Posting this here. Look, it's our boy Sketch. We all know Sketch,
God.
right?
What? Okay.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me talk.
I will not take any sketch slander, so watch what you're about to say.
No, absolutely no slander. I am on Sketch's side.
Good.
Look, I mean, if God damn it, I wish my video wasn't frozen. Sketch, he's a man of the people. Look, he accepts his flaws. He accepts what he does. And Hatch, I hope you could agree with your shirt. I wish you were wearing it.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he's getting paid. As a wise man once told me, if you made a steak, does that make you a chef? No. If you suck one dick, that doesn't make you gay.
I feel like your dad said that. I don't know why, but
it was the wise man that told me that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, hang in there, Sketch.
So for people who have absolutely no context,
might be gay, but you're still a dick sucker.
Yeah, No, but for the context, Sketch, obviously a really big streamer, became popular very quickly this year. I mean, I don't know him, but seems like a good guy. Seems like a good guy. A lot of people support him. He makes funny content. Great. Apparently it came out this last week that he used to have, or I don't know if he had or appeared in, but somehow he was seen in OnlyFans content that was gay. And so that became a lot of pressure for him, because obviously the internet, once they find that, they're going to go on Twitter and call you, every single word in the book and say fuck you and all the shit.
All right. Look, I got a comment for this.
Okay.
You can build 50 bridges and suck one dick, and you're a dick sucker for the rest of your life. Okay?
Fair. I don't even know what he did. I didn't fucking watch the videos.
Bridges, man.
I will say the W comes in from everyone on Twitter who are like all of his famous friends, who essentially said, cool, I don't give a fuck, he's still my friend, which kind of shut down a lot of the hate. Because like, dude, I don't give a single fuck if you suck a dick. Like, if you make a funny joke on Twitch and entertain me, okay, that makes me laugh. Like, I don't know, it was one of those things that to me, it's the single least important thing about this dude's life. I don't know why we have to be canceling him for that.
Is that even cancelable? Just
No,
being
so
gay?
they were trying though. That was the thing. Like, everyone at first was attacking him for it, and then FaZe Banks pretty much tweeted and said "fuck you," and everyone kind of turned their mind around really quickly and started supporting him. So yeah, it was weird.
It's really easy to hate something. It's really hard to be positive. You know what I mean? It's easy to jump on the hate train.
I'm friends with Brando. I have no problem with gay people.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's a good joke, guys.
I said my piece on it.
All right.
It's all an act.
Well, the other thing we need is a code word of the week.
Yep, you ready for this one?
What is it?
Masterclass.
Okay, that's just
nice.
lazy, but I like it.
No, you said. Let me tell you, I had that no joke ever since the very beginning, but you just said it in the last like 5 minutes. No bullshit.
So I brought it back up.
I had it ready for this whole one. I even went on Facebook to like look and make sure what the class is called.
All right.
So.
Well, yeah, code word of the week. If you guys are just tuning into the show to check out when Tim is on, we appreciate you guys for coming by. Drop the code word to either a DM, a comment somewhere. Just let us know that you heard all the way till the end of the show. It's a cool little system we use around here, and we appreciate everyone who sends us the code word of the week. All right, guys. So that's our 2 weekly topics. I got to remind you guys to rate the show real quick. You can drop a 5 stars on Apple or Spotify, like it on YouTube. Subscribe on all 3 of those platforms as well. It'll just give you a notification when the show is live and ready to go. We also have the Patreon at patreon.com/Mafia_Productions. It's where you get access to the show early and ad-free versions of it, as well as some bonus content as well. We also have the merch website, xxvthelabel.com. We appreciate all the stuff they do for creators in paintball and for us as well. So thank you to Michael Diaz and those guys down there. And then the 3 sponsors that we always have on the show. Liquid IV, use promo code Mafia_Mafia to save yourself 20% off at checkout. NECTR Energy, NECTR.energy is where you're going to head over to get some more information about their product and get a buy 2 get 1 free when you use code MafiaProductions. And last but not least, Welt's Clothing. FTS is the code over there. It's going to save you 10% off at checkout. So yeah, when you're grabbing some limited edition apparel, you can save yourself some money from Welt's. So all right, let's bring this on home, guys. That's everything for us tonight. Tim, thank you very much for giving us some of your time and kind of blessing us on the show. It's always great when people come together. It's one of our longer guest episodes, so we're happy about that. I just let you go there for a bit. You had a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, fun to talk to dudes, and I like to talk. So
Hell yeah, brother. We appreciate you. Seriously.
Hell yeah. We may have to have you back on sometime in the future. But for now, we have to bring this episode to a close. So for our special guest, Tim Brusselback, for our co-host, Brando Baird, and Stephen Hatch, my name is Ryan Mafia Moffat. This has been episode 102 of From the Sidelines, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Do your thing, Hatch.
Bye.
See you guys later.